pursue peace efforts.
Overnight into Sunday, Russia launched an assault of airstrikes and some 150 drones across Ukraine, killing at least 4 people. President Donald Trump said on social media Saturday that he doubts Russian President Vladimir Putin wants to end the war with Ukraine.
Correspondent Donna Warder. The White House highlighting the president's border agenda, marking the administration's 100th day in office.
About 100 yard signs with mug shots of arrested unauthorized immigrants have been placed along the White House driveway. The individuals on the posters are described as illegal aliens. The display is part of the administration's focus on the president's immigration policy. In a social media post, the White House warned illegal immigrant criminals, "We will hunt you down, you will face justice, you will be deported."
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. The UN's highest court is holding hearings on Israel's duty to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar says Israel does not target civilians or aid workers, and he's suggesting that in this forum, the deck is heavily stacked against the Jewish state.
The goal is to deprive Israel of its most basic right to defend itself. It is not Israel that should be on trial. It is the UN and UNRWA. The UN has become a rotten, anti-Israel and anti-Semitic body.
A top Palestinian diplomat accusing Israel of violating international law. On Wall Street, Dow futures 17 points higher. The NASDAQ futures are up 5 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You heard the news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange and listed on the big board. Millions of Americans like you are joining our news revolution. Reuters Institute says Newsmax is one of the top 12 news brands in America. Even President Trump says it's terrific. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax, and its audience grew 50% since the same time last year. Millions really are making the switch to Newsmax. If you want to be a Newsmax share owner, call your advisor or get more info at newsmaxinvest.com. Stand with Newsmax today for a strong America. This communication is for informational purposes only and shall not be intended to or shall not constitute any offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such offer, solicitation, or sale would be unlawful.
Israeli strikes on the Gaza Strip overnight have killed at least 17 people, according to Palestinian health officials.
One airstrike hit a home in Gaza's Beit Lahia, killing 10 people, including a Palestinian prisoner who had been released as part of the ceasefire. Another strike hit a home in Gaza City, killing 7 people, including 2 women, according to Gaza's Health Ministry's emergency service. 2 other people were wounded.
Correspondent Charles Deladesma. The humanitarian needs of hundreds of thousands of survivors remain desperately pressing a month after Myanmar's deadly earthquake, compounded by airstrikes that the military government is reportedly carrying out despite ceasefires. The 7.7 magnitude March 28th quake hit a wide swath of the country, causing significant damage. Myanmar's government reports 157 aftershocks following the big quake, those aftershocks ranging anywhere from 2.8 to 7.5. News and analysis, townhall.com. The USDA is warning Mexico it will stop animal imports into the U.S. out of fear of flesh-eating parasites.
The threat was issued via letter by Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. The screwworm targets fresh wounds in warm-blooded animals, and some of those animals include cattle, bison, and horses. Rollins says imports from Mexico will be prohibited to protect the U.S. interest of the agriculture industry. They fail to combat the spread of the screwworm.
Correspondent Tasha Stevens. A vast area across the Midwest and the plains could be swept by powerful storms later today. Everything from thunderstorms to tornadoes, along with destructive hail and flash flooding are possible, according to weather forecasters. Minneapolis, Des Moines, and Kansas City among locales that could see the worst of the severe weather throughout the day later today. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat.
Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to it.
Yes.
I know it's harder for me because I had a self-imposed 3-day weekend.
Oh, is it harder for you?
So I'm not gonna lie, Monday hit a little harder for me today than it did other Mondays.
Yeah. Well, you had 3 to recoup. I only got the 2.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it.
And I'll tell you,
thank
yesterday.
you for filling in. I appreciate it. It was, had a good 3-day weekend. Yeah.
Did you do anything special for your birthday? Did you guys go
I
to dinner?
We went out and we actually went to like a Sunday lunch or Saturday lunch.
Nice.
And had a steak lunch or whatever. Actually, I had chicken, but it was at the steakhouse.
it's steakhouse chicken.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Actually, we went to Texas Roadhouse.
Nice.
And this first time I had it, I was like, I want to try something different. I can't remember what they call it, but it's I think it's mushroom chicken. Portobello chicken.
Oh, yeah, portobello chicken, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got the cheese. And I had that for the first time from there.
Dude.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
I'm telling you,
good stuff.
The go-to, and this isn't Texas Roadhouse, but my go-to Jersey Mike's order is the portobello steak Philly.
I get that and the chicken one.
The portobello makes that sandwich.
Yeah.
It is It's essentially another.
Have you had the
meat.
portobello chicken cheesesteak?
See, I'm not big on chicken cheesesteak. I don't know how. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Try it.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
Sometimes I get that over I have a hankering. Sometimes I'm like, no, I want this chicken cheese.
That steak, man, it really hits a spot.
Yeah, they're both good. Oh yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that game.
Steak always hits a good spot.
But yeah, I had a good birthday.
Nice.
I got my wife for my birthday got me this T-shirt. Actually.
Very cool. Heck yeah.
Got that. And then I got a set of iPods too as well. So.
Earbuds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the iPod earbuds. Yes, those things. Yeah.
Yep.
They're high tech.
It's funny. I've been watching a lot of timeline programming, flashback to this year, and I just watched the one the year they came out with the original iPod.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious to go back and look at it. They said it's the size of a pack of playing cards, a deck of playing cards, and it was.
Yeah.
This thing is huge by today's standards. It is massive. If you look at the original iPod.
Yeah. Well, and phones did that. Remember how they started big, and then they got tiny.
Yeah.
And now they're big again.
Right. That was the thing, is everybody's phone was going to be like, hello. Yeah. But now we need a screen, so now they're big again. Yeah.
That's one of the few Saturday Night Live bits I remember with Will Ferrell pulling out like a flip phone, and it was literally the size of like a Matchbox car. I don't even think it was that big. It's pretty funny. But But the thing that kind of amazed me about the earbuds is that when I first put them on, they want to do a whole thing where spatial deal, and I had to move my head around and all this. I'm like, to listen to music, I got to move my. I mean, I could get it to get my picture for the thingy, but I had to do that basically for the eared part. And I guess that's for.
It kind of makes sense because creates
the stereo, whatever.
Yeah, if you're trying to experience head-on sound, and if you turn your head this way, you'd hear it more in this ear than you would in this ear, and I think that's just the spatial.
I guess if I'm watching movies with it, that's wonderful. I'm just trying to listen to music.
Yeah, I want 50% of the audio in each ear at all times. I don't care about 45 to 60.
If I'm listening to the movie Titanic through this thing, then all right, maybe that'll help me. But anyway, they are cool.
If you're listening to the movie Titanic through your earbuds, you have a problem. There's something wrong with you, because that means you're just by yourself watching Titanic. That's not even a shared viewing experience. That tells more about your life than does anybody else. That's more of just a statement about you as a person.
I love movies about love stories and sinking boats. What are you going to tell?
Spoiler alert, she tossed into the ocean at the end.
I love a good love story that ends with a boat sinking. I can't help it.
Well, then have I got a movie for you?
But, I had a great birthday and got some really great gifts and had a great time. And, wife and I had a good weekend. So.
Nice. Had a successful weekend at the Roswell Honda Classic charity golf tournament.
Oh, yeah, big golf weekend.
Yeah, big golf weekend.
Weather was pretty decent, right?
Weather held up Saturday and Sunday. There's a problem because the winds really were kicking up by the time I left, especially. But the one thing I'll never understand, and I get that the money had already been spent by the time the tournament had started. At that point, it's just the boondoggle.
Yeah.
I will never understand the appeal of drinking beer at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or they started at 7:30.
Yeah.
And that's when the beer trucks opened up. I don't understand how you can function. I got to the event and they were like, "Hey, would you like a breakfast burrito? How about some coffee? Go grab a beer. There's shots for $5. Can I get a water?
I'm working.
I need to hydrate. None of this will hydrate you."
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
If you would have asked me in my 20s and I had a day of outdoor, I would be, we're cracking open a beer at 8:30. Nowadays, no. I'm like, I think a Coca-Cola Zero is too much for me right now. I need to wait an hour. You know what I mean?
That feels a little heavy, don't you think there, Bob?
But ask 20-something Mike, yes, I would have been out there like, because I suck at golf. So I was all right at drinking.
Right. Yeah, I was pretty good at that, actually. The one thing I didn't get to see, because we didn't go out Sunday to do any broadcast or anything.
Yeah.
But apparently yesterday, they had comedian Alex Raymundo out at the golf course.
That's why you need the beer.
Yeah, well. For those who don't know, Alex Raymundo's brother-in-law is Ron White, and together they created the Number One Tequila company.
Is that what the shots?
It was the promotion for Number One Tequila. But what they did was they set him up at one of the holes, and they had him critique/roast everybody's golf game.
Sweet.
And the name is the best. They called it the Number One Tequila Alex Raymundo Heckle Hole. That was my favorite phrase of the entire weekend.
Did you hang out at the Heckle Hole?
No, I didn't get a chance to go see the Heckle Hole, but I imagine it was the fun times had to be
I would have set up shop at the Heckle Hole just to see what's going on at the Heckle Hole.
Well, I watched this. There's a TikTok channel, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever, called Country Club Adjacent.
Yeah.
And their whole thing is they call it the back off challenge. They basically stand right behind when you're about to take your first drive.
Yeah.
And they just roast you. They've done everybody up to and including Donald Trump, which is hilarious.
No, they don't mess with the swing itself. They just talk, like, when you're in your swing, they don't mess with you, right?
Or it's like right when you're about to take your swing.
Okay, I thought, so they do it during the swing. Okay, I thought they didn't do that part, but I guess. So I guess, does that hole not count in the score thing, or does it?
I imagine it does, yeah.
Okay. Because, I mean.
Your job as a golfer is to block out any distractions.
Understood, but you're giving a lot of discretion to your celebrity. Because Alex could choose to go easy on certain people or go hard in the paint on others.
Sure, but now you're getting into like some Pete Rose.
Just saying. We're taking this seriously. We need to,
insider gambling stuff. Now FanDuel lets you bet on your chances at the Heckle Hole.
And depending on how many beers you got to by the time you got to said hole.
/ shots.
Yeah, I'm sure by the way, after 37 beers, I'm sure Alex is the reason why your golf game stinks. But that's
that was the only reason I almost bought because you have to buy the shots.
Yeah.
The only reason I almost bought a shot was because just for the collector's itemness of it all.
Yeah.
Because in New Mexico, you can no longer get single serve shooters. They don't sell them. They don't allow them to be sold anymore. It's double shot is the best you can do.
Did not know that.
Yeah. So they were all servicing single shot bottles. And I almost got one just for like the novelty of it. Like, ooh, look, a single shot. Ooh, fancy, huh?
Yeah. Got out the black market. But
it seems counterintuitive to curb drinking.
Unless you're promoting with famous people.
Yeah.
Then laws go right up.
That's right. Celebrate responsibly. Unless Alex Raimundo's there, then go nuts.
Well, that's cool. It was a good overall.
Good turnout, and everybody seemed to be pretty happy with it.
Nice.
Big thanks to the sponsors, and huge thanks to Crumlin for making it happen.
Not that nobody cares, but the Caps are now up 3-1 in their series against Montreal.
Ooh.
Game 5 will be tomorrow night back in Washington.
Did they lose Game 4?
No, they lost Game
3. So they won
Friday night. They went to Montreal. Now, for folks who don't know,
go ahead.
Montreal is insane place to play hockey.
They're deep French.
It is, it is by far the craziest place to watch a hockey game. And if you watch any of the highlights clips, you can see exactly what we're talking about.
So I'm curious.
Yeah.
Because what they've been doing, whenever they do like a show in Toronto for like WWE or whatever, they'll do both anthems.
Oh, yeah.
So did they do this at Montreal?
Do this is hockey. They do it in Washington.
Right.
If a Canadian team, and this is any single game, playoffs, regular season, but if a Canadian team and an American team are playing each other, no matter if it's who's at home, they play both. Now, here's what happens. When they're in Washington, Canada plays first, and then the Star Spangled Banner. It's flips reversed when they're in Montreal.
Which brings me to my next question. What was the crowd reaction like to the anthem?
Oh, that was fine.
Did they go along with it?
Yeah, there wasn't. Now, here's also another little factoid for you.
Okay.
Because the game's also in Montreal, they speak French.
Yeah, it's deep
in Montreal. So when they do the Canadian anthem, they sing 3/4 of it in the French version.
Sure.
And then like the last verse, they'll do it in English. But it's a whole different experience in Montreal, even in Montreal versus other parts of Canada.
Oh yeah,
like what they're doing in Montreal ain't the same as what's going on in Toronto or Ottawa or Edmonton. It's different. So
it's Montreal's one of those places where you see French before you see English. Like it's English or French then English translation.
Yeah, it's but it's an insane hockey town, and it is one of the It's okay. How people call the Cowboys America's team for NFL, Montreal Canadiens are that times 7.
Yeah.
The difference is the Cowboys got 6 Super Bowls, a fine resume there.
But
the Montreal Canadiens have like 35 Stanley Cups. They've won it like 6 years in a row over spans of years. There's been several 4 years. They haven't. It's been a minute since the Canadiens have been relevant. In this, modern, but the history overall of the Canadiens is second to none in the terms of. I mean, think of your Rangers, your Red Wings, your Boston Bruins, your original 6 teams ain't hold a candle to the Canadiens' history. Just straight facts there.
Sorry, I'm dealing with technical issues.
Something all right? Oh, cool. Well, while you're doing that, let me give you the rundown because I got to get this interview. We're going to replay an interview this hour. Sean had District Attorney Diana Luce, 5th Judicial District Attorney Diana Luce, and then also Justin Dominguez, lead investigator. Had a great conversation with them on Friday. We'll play that for you here in just a minute.
No, it's quality. You have no idea of the quality of that conversation.
Maybe I listened.
It might have been a subpar conversation.
Maybe I listened.
Oh, okay.
I didn't, but I didn't, but maybe I could.
Could have.
In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Amy McVeigh-Tejas with the Historical Society for Southeast Mexico is going to join us, and we'll chit-chat and I think talk scholarships and a few other things as well with her. And then folks from the Chaves County Health Council, Carrie Moore, will join us in the 9 o'clock hour and give us an update what's going on through the Health Council. Of course, they are gearing up for back to school, the annual Health Council's deal in August. I know it's April, almost May, but now's the time.
About it.
Sign up get your boost, all that good stuff. So we'll talk with them in the 9 o'clock hour. Before we do any of that, your weather. Hope it's hotter. Hope it's cooler today because it's hotter than I'll get out in this room. Like, I'm going to burst into flames in about 5 minutes here.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Lots of sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s, maybe 90 around the Carlsbad area. Wind will be a little bit gusty, 20 to 25 miles an hour. Overnight, we're expecting clear skies, our low dropping to about 50. We get another sunny day on Tuesday with low to mid-80s. Slim chance of a shower on Tuesday night, then right around 80 and sunny again on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 57 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 23%. Winds currently out of the west at 7 miles per hour. Sunny and 86 today. Winds will be breezy out of the northwest. 5 to 10 this morning, shifting to the southwest, 15 to 25 miles per hour for this afternoon. Clear tonight, overnight low of 50. Winds will remain breezy out of the west, 15 to 25 miles per hour. They will drop down 5 to 15 miles per hour after midnight tonight. For you Tuesday, sunny, 82 for a high tomorrow. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. As Steve mentioned, a 20% chance that we can see some showers Tuesday night, mainly before midnight. Mostly cloudy, 50 for an overnight low. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny and 82. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny and 86 for Thursday. And then just like the last couple weeks, they start the week off teasing us with rain chances for the weekend. And they're doing it again this week. 50% chance of rain for Friday. Mainly for the afternoon, mostly cloudy, 69 for a high on Friday, so a lot cooler. We're looking at a 40% chance of rain Friday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 55. Saturday, we're looking at a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy and 76. And then Sunday, sunny and windy with a high of 84. So we'll see how that shapes up as the week progresses here. All right, 7:22. We're going to take a quick break. We'll get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten. Quick break, and then we'll play our interview with District Attorney, 5th Judicial District Attorney Diana Luce and lead investigator Justin Dominguez. Interview from Friday. That's up next. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good April run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves and yearlings, cow-calf pairs. We expect to sell 1,400 head, breaking down like this: 175 to 200 weight cows and bulls, 125, 150 pairs of bred cows, 1050, 1,100 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 50 to 60 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white-face, red, white-face English crossbred cows with black calves at their side, 4 to 10 years old. 11 cow-calf pairs, excellent quality black Angus cows with Angus calves at side, 4 to 8 years old. 30 to 35 roping size calves right off the cows going to sale this morning. 36 calves, 2-2 partnership, Pecos, Texas. Excellent quality black to black white face Angus crossbred calves, Bow Shield Gold 7-way at Brandon, 575 pounds. 31 calves, Mr. Floyd Hancock, Port Tallis, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white face Angus cross calves, cattle weighed 60 days, 2 rounds of shots, 350. 550 pounds. 80 calves, Parker Vandervoort, Winston, New Mexico. Ex-quality black and red Angus and Beefmaster cross calves. Cattle weighing 100 plus days, 2 rounds of shots, medium condition. 450, 600 pounds. 60 light yearlings, Sneeman Ranch, Brownfield, Texas. Ex-quality black white face, red white face English crossbreds. Cattle weighing 100 plus days. 1 round of shots right off some short wheat, 600, 725 pounds. 60 steer yearlings, Derek Jennings, Seminole, Texas. Fancy quality, approximately 40 black white face Angus crosses in the 750 to 850 pound weight range. In 20 kind of white face Hereford steers, 650, 750 pounds. Good flesh, right off short wheat. 58 calves, JCJ Ranch, Santa Teresa, New Mexico. Good quality, 90% black Angus and Brangus crosses. Cattle weighed 30 days, 1 round of shots, thin condition, 350, 500 pounds. 64 calves, the Bruton Ranch, San Antonio, New Mexico. Excellent quality Charolais crossbred calves, cattle weaned, 1 round of shots, thin condition, 400, 600 pounds. And 23 calves, Mr. Mark Kelly at Yeso, New Mexico. Excellent quality black white face Angus crossbred calves, cattle weaned 60 days, Bow Shield Gold 7-way, thin condition, 450, 550 pounds. Sale time this morning will be 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 10. Be selling calves and yearlings about 10:30 to 10:45. We expect to sell 1,400 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Your fingernails grow faster on your dominant hand. Not sure which is your dominant hand? Just wait. You'll nail it. Here's Mike Winters.
Morning, 16 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining me in studio this morning is Diana Luz and Justin Dominguez from the District Attorney's Office. How are y'all doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Good. So, in the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two equal yet individual sides. I had to look this up, by the way. It's the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. What's your story? Dong dong.
Right? Yeah, isn't that the Law and Order phrase?
It is.
Yeah.
I was thinking I've heard this before.
I didn't do the voice, but
I'd like to be Jack McCoy instead of real life, where we have rules and ethics that apply to what we do. So,
absolutely.
I think we get a lot more credit for what people think we have the ability to do. But what we do is prosecute misdemeanors and felony cases that are brought to us by our law enforcement. And we take it from there. We don't normally investigate, and we don't control the sentencing outcome.
Right.
And so we're the in-between. We're kind of the middle of the Oreo.
Yeah, the middleman, the liaison, the ones who know how to handle the system, essentially. So what's that process like? I mean, take us through the process of, the police, they come to you with a case, they put it in your lap, and then where does it go from there?
So I think primarily once on inception, there's a lot of communication. Like, communication is one of the most paramount parts of what the district attorney's office does in working with law enforcement agencies, because once a case is brought to the attorney, then it's the attorney's duty to meet with that case agent and discuss the case with them, to where if there are holes, or now they won't advise them on what to do or how to do their investigation, but they can collectively discuss the case and determine the best way to move forward. And with the ultimate goal being able to have a strong case to move forward through with prosecution.
Basically, the police hand you a pile of knots, and they expect you to undo the knots and kind of make a case out of it.
Well, we hope that when they bring it to us, it's pretty well laid out. All we're really doing is deciding if we agree with the charges that they've selected. Maybe we think there's an additional charge. Maybe we think there's a better charge.
Okay.
Or if there's a victim in a case and it's not a urgent filing type of victim crime, we may want to meet with the victim, or if it's a child, a victim and a parent, guardian.
Sure.
Before we go forward. But normally, police have got it pretty well laid out. They bring us the document to file. They're ready, right? They're waiting on us, which is kind of the story of their lives. But we're kind of the gatekeeper for that. We can't just let every case that happens be filed, because we do have an ethical obligation to make sure we can prove it.
Sure.
And we have a lot of cases. One thing I can say is we have some of the best law enforcement in the 5th District. We, even during COVID, didn't see much of a slowdown on filings. We were one of I think we were the only district that was like that in the state. Our law enforcement continued to work all crimes to the best of their ability, and the courts continued to operate. We did trials. We did everything we could do to move things forward. So I think what really and truly happens is then it's a hurry up and wait game. Sometimes law enforcement bringing it to us, because we're like, okay, you've done all this work, but we need to reflect and think and be ready. Right. Obviously, there are the cases that happen that we file them immediately, and then we ask for more work to be done.
Sure. There's certain ones that take precedence over others. Maybe that there's sensitive information, time-sensitive information that needs to be addressed or or looked into. That's actually amazing that we were the one of the only counties that had no slowdown like during a process like COVID. And I remember the whole process of going through the court system, having to do the Zoom calls and all that, and everybody having to learn so much technology so quickly. And it was
a crazy time. It was definitely a crazy time
to see old folks bumble with technology. We'll just put it that way. You're on mute. No, you're on mute.
We still do that because the one thing the courts have allowed is we still do a lot of hearings through their Google Meets platform, which is really convenient, especially like the 5th District, which is 3 counties. We have private defense attorneys that do contract, and they cover all those counties as well. And to have the time to drive between hearing to hearing, what used to happen was we would wait for a couple hours for the attorney to finish in one location and drive to another. We still do that, and we, once again, the 5th, we like to be special, right? The Supreme Court has allowed our judges discretion to do more virtual than what some of the other districts are doing because we are so spread out. And we want things to move. And if cases can move faster for that reason, and a hearing's going to take 10 minutes, do you really need to drive 2 hours?
Right. And that was actually something we were talking about with the Sheriff's Department last hour is just Travis County in general, your district, is so spread out, so widespread that having that technology really comes in handy. I don't want to go as far as to say thank you, COVID, but I feel like being put in a position where we had to figure out what to do next kind of helped us moving forward and kind of aided the whole process.
Well, as much as that time hurt us, I think it helped us in a lot of ways also because it showed us viable alternatives to ways that we were doing things just because that's how it's always been done.
Yeah, it kind of broke the status quo. It's like, oh, we can do this on our own. We just have to find workarounds. That sounds like a conversation I've had with my boss at least 2 times this week. No, I don't have to do it your way. I'm going to do it my way. It's still going to work. Watch. But so yeah, it's a long and complicated process, obviously, and one that I'm sure you guys takes very seriously and it's like I said, it's an undertaking. But what's the process like for you on the ground? Like as far as like you mentioned earlier, maybe having to go and talk to a family, talk to a young person, and that's where you guys have resources that kind of help put the room at ease before a complicated conversation has to happen.
Well, we're fortunate enough in our district where we have some amazing victims advocates that work out of each office, and collectively, I don't think we can ever say enough about the VAs that work for the 5th Judicial District and their ability to communicate and to relate to victims or people that have been victimized. They have just an amazing ability to comfort them and speak with them and ultimately to help them through the process and show them that they are supported, that they are heard, and that there are resources out there available to them. So they play a vital role. And then I'll let Diana talk about our canines that we have because she was instrumental in getting that started, not only for our district, but pretty much statewide.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an amazing program.
Well, yeah, the court facility dogs, the DA dogs that Gina Yeager and the nonprofit foundation now operate for us, they are amazing. And they've expanded even beyond working with victims in our office. They now have a regular rotation with the police department to go over and be available for officers, be available for dispatchers. There's a lot of incidents that occur that may or may not be cases, but it's still trauma. Sure. They've been going to the library and reading with kids. And so and we go to schools whenever the opportunity happens just to be the positive, not when there's a crisis.
Right.
Our dogs have actually, as you know, they've been on, Ms. Yeager's been on many times to talk about how, we've traveled the entire state. She's traveled to Texas multiple times. The FBI reaches out on a regular basis to our program, and we have had a consistent program. We have 4 dogs all the time in our district, and so it's a really strong program, and we have really great handlers. But the point of the process of that is that we have resources for people. It's not perfect.
Sure.
Every victim is not going to maybe feel like we did 110%, but our people give 110% every day. that are advocates to help people and to reach out and to talk to them and explain. And some cases don't go well, some cases are never filed. But those resources are there, and the dogs are not only there for the public, but they're there for us too.
Sure.
Some days I think they benefit all of us that work in the office as much as they do anybody else.
Oh, absolutely. Because there's only so many times you can give a coworker a good scritch, and this is one of those situations. You touched on something back there that I think is really important, and that's letting programs like the DA Dogs, some of the other programs, your other resources exist in peacetime, so that when the chaotic times are happening, it's that much more of a comfort, because those dogs have been a presence. They were at the library.
It's familiar.
I met this dog. I hung out with this dog, and so if a child's in a situation like I mentioned even last hour with getting pulled over and my daughter on the spectrum, having that calming voice, that presence of things are going to be okay, it really just helps the entire process move along smoother. So yeah, it's an amazing thing to have. And the other thing is, I think that we tend to be kind of callous when it comes to looking at cases like, why hadn't it been decided? Why hadn't it gone to trial? What's this? What? You guys are close to it, and so you see the people behind the cases, and that's maybe why a case takes a little longer to go to trial, or maybe why a case doesn't ever go to trial, because you guys take the time to actually get to know those people. I think that's the important thing.
We get to know the people, and then we also have to work within the process.
Right.
Of at times, our office may be short-staffed of attorneys. The public defenders that do the bulk of the defense cases may be short-staffed. Judges can only set so many cases on their calendar and schedule. You start moving all the parts, it's very frustrating for the public to understand why it takes so long. We feel like, why does it take so long? And then when we think we're ready, like say, trying to get civilians and officers who are not on vacation or training or sick, and make all the parts line up. But we do a lot of trials. I think Travis County does a huge number. And our district, I'm going to forget if we were second this time for FY24 stats for the state. Those are the court stats in doing jury trials. We were second only to Albuquerque.
Oh, wow.
So we do a lot of trials. Sometimes the public may not feel like that. Social media, we see a lot of that. Where it's like, oh, they just played everything out. We really don't. We really don't.
Right.
We do a lot of trials. I do a lot of trials. I set a record for myself for violent crime last year of doing 13 jury trials, and 7 of those were either first-degree homicides or first-degree child abuse resulting in death. So it takes a lot of the court's time to do motions and prep and juries, and then to try those. So when people start thinking about multiple week trials, and I know they just had the gun violence awareness event, the what we sadly refer to as the Cahoon Park shooting. I mean, we tried 3 different individuals. We did 1 trial, and then we joined 2. Both of those were more than 1 week. I think they were both
2.
Yeah. And so if you think about the time that it took to get those ready into trial, that was a long time coming for those families.
And to give each side their chance for discovery and to get the information that they need for attorneys and all that stuff. Everything is a process, and it gets drawn out for sure.
And that's what I was going to say too. Is like, just because we get everything together and file the case and stuff, when then we disclose to the defense counsel, whoever's representing the defendant, access to all of the material, and then say they want to go and look at the scene, or they have their amount of time to look into everything and review evidence and stuff like that, and to conduct their own interviews and stuff. So it's not just a crime happens, we get the case, we file it, it should go.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, if you do that, that's when cases get thrown out because a step was missed.
Sure.
Or, certain parties didn't have enough time to go over evidence. And
sure.
It's absolutely an important part of things. And I think that a lot of us forget that also, and this is the sad part of it, is that Roswell is not even close to the biggest area or town or city in New Mexico, and we face so much crime and so many problems on the streets. You guys are inundated with cases. I imagine every day it's They walk in and slap a stack of portfolios on your desk and say, okay, now start at the top and work your way down. So I'm sure y'all are working multiple cases throughout the course of a day, keeping each plate spinning and trying to make. So where are we at in this case? Let's go look over here, and that's got to take it out of you.
Well, see, and it's not even just that. It's multiple attorneys are working multiple cases, daily. They're doing their best to prioritize and manage their time and their caseloads to ensure that none of those steps are missed on multiple cases for each attorney.
And even something you touched on before with the public defender's office, I've known 2 public defenders in southeastern New Mexico over the course of the last 15 years, and neither one of them were very happy people at all. They just, you deal with these cases on a daily basis, and you see the best sides of people's shores sometimes, but you see just the worst of people, and it's draining. It takes it out of you. So what do you do to unwind after a long day of trauma? What's your way to unwind?
Well, everybody in the office knows that I'm like a fitness person.
Okay.
So since I can't get them to run with me, I think I've ran off all the staff that would run with me. So out there, hey, Roswell Runners Club,
there you go.
Somebody contact me because I need to find another running buddy. But I do fitness. That's my stress relief. Sure. I'm a member of a really good group of people that do that, and I encourage our people. We encourage for built into the day. They don't have to do it in the evening or early morning. We've built in so that our staff are allowed to take off during the day and have 30 minutes of exercise time so many days a week. And it may just be walking. A lot of people walk around the courthouse. Yeah. You see the court staff, you see our staff doing that. You just have to get away from that screen, away from the phone, and get outside in some fresh air. Right now, what's the heat, right? We went from winter to summer, right?
With no spring in between.
and back to winter, and then back to summer.
I'm really glad that there's a healthy amount of runners out there in Roswell. I'm glad that they give you that time to have that exercise. I don't run. I've made the joke before that if the zombie apocalypse ever happened, I hope we get the slow zombies, not like the World War Z zombies that run, because I'd be screwed if it's that one. But that's awesome that the department understands the undertaking that your department is taking on, and you give your folks the time to just de-stress a bit, to deflate.
And I can say this with all certainty, in the 20 plus years that I've been involved in law enforcement, I don't think I've ever worked for someone who placed as much emphasis on mental health as Diana. She really does her best to make sure that she provides our district and all the staff in our district with time off for different things, and she's very gracious in allowing us, access to time or whatever the case may be to help, with our mental health, because she understands the load of stress that our staff members are under, and she empathizes because she sits in the same chair and does the same job, and so she definitely does a great job making sure, not just because she's sitting right next to me either, but she does a great job at making sure, at putting an emphasis on making sure that our mental health is in check also.
And that's so important with what you guys do. I mean, because everything, every part of your job, every aspect has to have that certain amount of focus. You have to be paying close attention, because even one missed detail, can result in a thrown out case or any number of situations. What I do for a living, I don't have to pay that much attention. I don't have to have that much focus. So it's very easy to kind of like take some mental time and kind of break away myself. But for your department, working in that mental health time is vital. I think it's the one thing that's keeping you guys on the same page and working smoothly.
It's definitely not like an environment where you'll hear a couple of staff members in the hallway laughing or something, and somebody pops out and goes, "Why are you laughing? There's no laughter here. Go get back to work." You know what I mean? It's. I think we do our best to try to create a good environment for everybody that works in the Fifth at the different offices, and it gives them, there's different, every morning I'll wake up and on my work phone I'll have an email from one of the offices where they say, "Hey, good morning everybody, donuts in the break room," or "Breakfast burritos are in the kitchen, help yourselves." You know what I mean? Like, a lot of our staff throughout the entire district do a great job at making sure that the staff feels appreciated and that they know what they do matters and how much they matter to the administrative staff.
Morale makes a difference, and it's amazing how few managers know that or understand that. We need our boost too every now and again, but especially with what you guys do. It's quite the undertaking. So how let's start at the beginning. I'm curious, how did you get into the district attorney's office? Where was your start? Because you said you've been in law enforcement for 20 years.
So I started with the New Mexico Department of Corrections in 2002.
Okay.
And I was right out of high school. I was 18. I went through the academy and was in the Department of Corrections for about 9 years. I worked on the intelligence unit. I worked primarily gangs and narcotics for the Department of Corrections. And then I left and came to the street side of law enforcement. Worked in Artesia PD for a little while, Lovington PD for a little while, before ultimately going to the Eddy County Sheriff's Office. And I was with the Eddy County Sheriff's Office for just shy of 9 years or 8 years before I had the opportunity to switch over to the District Attorney's Office as an investigator.
That's quite the process. That's so you definitely put in your time. And so in that process, you've seen law enforcement from so many different angles. From the administrative side of things to the actual street side of things, it puts everything into perspective, and I imagine it has to help guide you through what you do now with getting a case to trial and putting things together, having that knowledge of seeing all aspects of it.
I think one of the biggest benefits of my career has been able to see from this side of the table what's going on, because from the other side we work a case and we never really get to fully understand. We have court prep and stuff like that in the academy, but on a very minimal scale. It's up to us to continue to hone those skills in when it comes to testifying and stuff like that. So to actually be able to see it from the eyes of an attorney's office, through the eyes of an attorney, how important it is to pay attention to certain details and things that we on the streets sometimes didn't really even think carried that much weight.
Right.
I mean, it's really, there's no other word to say than it's really cool to be able to see it from this side. And then I've always maintained that relationship with my buddies that are still in, the other law enforcement agencies, police officers and sheriff's departments, to be able to bring that to them and show them, well, hey, this is why, this is what's going on. This is when we used to think this, well, this is why. And and so it's really cool to be able to share that.
It's had to change your perspective on paperwork, I'd imagine, because when you're just a street beat officer, you're like, I don't want to do the paperwork after this. Those are the details that once it gets up to the higher ups, the district attorney's office, that's what's going to make the difference.
Well, see, I'm weird because I don't mind paperwork. I enjoy report writing and stuff like that. I love to draft reports and write, letters and stuff like that. That's words have always kind of been kind of my thing. You know what I mean? Sure. So I enjoy doing those and drafting those and helping. Because it is very important. The devil's in the details when it comes to documentation. So being able to help, detectives and stuff like that with drafting documents and stuff, it's very beneficial to be able to see it from this side now also, and for that to be something that I enjoy versus something that I dread having to do.
Sure, absolutely. Dad, what got you into to law enforcement, and how did you work your way up to the district attorney's office?
Well, I was probably like in 7th grade by the time I knew what I wanted to do for my career. I wanted to be a prosecutor. I was one of those kids that always got in trouble for talking from the time they were in like 1st grade. And so I found a way to talk for a living.
Me too.
Much to everybody's maybe sometimes disappointment at times. Their judges are like for me to be quiet, I'm sure. But I was that generation of Perry Mason, right?
Sure.
And so when I was looking for law school, you start looking at what jobs let you actually do the kind of work you want to do. And I did work for a little bit at a firm and for a few months, and it was great. I mean, they're great people. It was wonderful, but they always knew that I wanted to be in the courtroom, and that's what I did. So I actually started with Tom Rutledge. When he was district attorney, I started here in Roswell in the Roswell office. But then ultimately my husband's job led us over to Lovington, to Lee County. And so I stayed office to office, right? I just had to wait for an opening. And then I left for a while and did private practice. I was a magistrate judge in Lovington for 4 years. And then I came back when Janetta Hicks became district attorney. I came back as her chief deputy over in Lee County.
Okay.
So when she retired in 2015, I became district attorney, and so I'm still here.
Yeah,
just started a new term in January.
Yes.
So thank you
goodness.
to everybody that voted for me, and it's kind of that double-edged thing, right? Be careful what you ask for.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. You're like,
you asked
yes,
for the
we
job,
won. And then you
like,
turn
oh.
around, you're like, oh,
What have
no.
I done?
What doors did I just open?
Yeah, there are days when you go, wow, I asked for this job, right? Some days it's hard.
But that's sort of the beauty of it, is because you can take the situation, take the what you've been given with the district attorney's office, and you can kind of mold it to what you need it to be, how you know it can work, and put things in place that you know and have seen and have experienced that have gotten results.
Yeah, I'm definitely a problem-solving person. I want to fix things.
Sure.
Always want to go to, okay, we can fix this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I can fix it. I'm not good at patience. So, helping people and helping the process. We can't always control the outcome, but we have a better chance at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoy. I went to law school at UNM,
Okay.
which was. Kind of interesting for this part of the state, right? I mean, I was accepted to Texas Tech. That would have probably been a good fit, but I think UNM pushed me more because I was a conservative in a non-conservative environment, and so I was challenged more, and I felt like I had to work harder at times, even though maybe I really didn't. That's your perception,
right?
I think that gave me a really good start for my career as an attorney, and so I went from someone, believe it or not, who was shy and didn't like to talk. There were people that, I'm serious, people I graduated from high school with that are still amazed at the difference in who I am today. But definitely this job gives you that opportunity. We see a lot of prosecutors that come along that are sometimes a little quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they didn't have a lot of public speaking opportunity.
Sure.
They didn't think about being a trial attorney, but they need a job.
Mm-hmm.
And we give them a year. We'll transform them, and they'll think this is great. Now, they may not stay.
Right.
Because along with that, law enforcement filing cases and us having a lot of trials, we have high caseloads in the Fifth. And so, sadly, they can go to another DA's office or the AG's office, or Department of Justice now, right, or the U.S. Attorney's office, and sometimes make more money and have a lower caseload.
Sure, and it's hard to retain top talent, as they say, but you also kind of have to take a little heart knowing that I did that.
Right.
We put that in.
We
them.
helped them.
Absolutely, we instilled that in them. It's funny you mentioned that because one of my close personal friends I went to high school with, she is an attorney now in Colorado, and in high school she was the quietest human being I've ever met in my entire life, and she will not shut up now. She posts whole novels on Facebook. I'll get on the phone. I'll be on there for 45 minutes, and she's telling me every aspect of her life. I never knew anything about any of this, but it really is amazing that a little bit of goading in the right direction, knowing that your words have weight and have a little power. That makes a difference.
Well, and I think one of the things that's unique about our district that sometimes people don't realize or understand if you don't see it day to day is that our elected district attorney, Diana, carries a caseload herself. Most district attorneys across the state are the administrative figure or perform the administrative functions of their office. She carries a caseload just like all the other attorneys, and in fact, sometimes I think maybe last year ended up doing more high-profile jury trials than any of the other line attorneys. So she doesn't just say, come in and do this. She shows and does and carries the load also. Kind of leads from the front.
And I don't know a lot about what goes into the process of a trial, but I got to imagine there's got to be a little bit of a, when you're the prosecuting attorney, there's got to be a little bit of a theatrics that goes into it. You're kind of, it's a jury trial. You're kind of trying to sway people, so there's a little bit of emotion and theatrics that go into it.
I think there's a little bit of that. There's less from the prosecution side than the defense side, because we very much we take not only our oath as an attorney to be licensed to practice in New Mexico, but we have a separate prosecutor's oath that we have to take. And we have different additional ethics rules for prosecutors. And so, that's why the movies pull all of those cool words out.
Right.
A few good men, without passion or prejudice represent the government, right? We're the state, not the government. People always confuse that. We hear that a lot in trial from defense. But sometimes we may compare it to like if those that might work in ministry, where they have a little bit of that ability to, with that passion, to convey a message.
Absolutely.
So we have a few people that are really good in that regard, and then others, it's just more about presentation. Sure. It's like you said, we learned technology during COVID. I think jurors want it to look like it's a professional show when they see video, and they want to see PowerPoint. They want the audio to be good. And they would be amazed at the lack of the equipment that we have, the lack of the equipment that courts have to be able to do that. Sure. And so at times they may be looking at us like is this the kindergarten project that you all brought to court because the sound won't work, something's not working. But I think that to be a trial attorney, you have to have a little bit of, even though you may never have known you wanted to do theater, right? You have to have a little bit of that inside of you, kind of like your friend, right?
Yeah.
You don't know until you do it. Mm-hmm. We find that with people. Mm-hmm. We find that even sometimes with people that came to work as victim advocates, sometimes they weren't really sure that's what they wanted to do.
Right.
And then they just blossom in that field when they recognize that they have that ability to have empathy and to listen. Listening, we do a lot of listening. We talk a lot, but we do as much listening.
And it's almost the theme of the morning, because we touched on this last hour with the sheriff. It's so often people are just waiting for the next thing to say. We don't listen to what somebody's saying. And taking that time to actively listen to a person's story and to a person's situation, it makes so much difference.
Yeah, and I was walking into my office the other morning, and there's two other staff members that are in the area just outside where my office is, and I walked through and I asked one of the ladies, I said, "Good morning, how are you?" And she was just like, "I'm fine." And I stopped and I said, "No, how are you? Genuinely, how are you today? If something's on your mind or whatever, talk to me. How are you?" I said, too often we get so caught up in just answering in a pass, "How are you? I'm fine, thanks," when we don't think people want to hear or care to hear about what's going on if something really is going on. So that's just the culture that we try to create in our offices and stuff like that.
So next time somebody says, "Hey, how are you doing?" "My kids are loud and I got heartburn." I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to use that time.
Don't ask if you don't want.
Self-help,
Don't ask.
Absolutely.
You don't want to know the answer.
Absolutely.
So if folks want to learn more about the district attorney's office, what you guys do, the services you provide, and the resources that are available to them, how do they go about doing that?
Well, they can contact our office.
Okay.
They can. We have what's called a 5th DA email address that we give out, and it's actually the number 5 THDA, and we give that one out to people so that they can email. It comes to a group of us so that someone will respond.
A signal chat.
They can always just come into the building. The security will let our office know somebody's there. But to let people know about our office, they can always come watch trials. Court's public, so when we're in the courtroom in person, not virtual, they can come in and watch. Now, sometimes there may be a limit to seating, and I understand that, but they can watch hearings. The other thing that we do, and we've really been blessed that we're going to have coming up soon in May, is we have interns. They may be somebody that's we've actually had someone from in high school before as an intern work for us over the summer, whether they're undergrad, whether they're in law school, different phases. Maybe they want to do law. Maybe they want to do something connected to law.
Sure.
Maybe they're going to hate it, but they won't know till they're there.
Right.
So we invite people to reach out. We also go out and speak. Anytime Rotary, Kiwanis, Optimus, any of the other civic groups ask us, somebody from our office will go and speak and hand out pamphlets and cards and say, "This is how you contact our office."
Awesome. Very good, very good. So lots of ways to reach out to your 5th Judicial District Court. So let's take some time moving forward. So it's going to be a complicated few weeks, month. We're getting into the busy season, obviously, with the Reno air races coming our way. Let's just remember that what you guys do is such an amazing thing, and it's so important to the process. And it's something that I think people tend to forget. They look over, they gloss over the intricacies that go into what you guys do. So I want to thank you for everything y'all are doing, and we really appreciate the hard work that you guys put in.
Yes, sir.
The program. And also keeping it, with the community, keeping it of the people, with the DA dogs and all those programs. It's awesome to see that we use the few resources that we have, and we use them to such amazing, end results. So thank you guys for what you do.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for having us. Y'all are always great to let us come and talk, and sometimes we feel like, why would the public want to hear from us, right? So we really do appreciate it.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Good.
Appreciate it.
9 minutes away from 10 o'clock. Let us pause and get you up to date with some local news.
Now for your Pecos Valley news update, I'm Jerry.
It has President Trump questioning whether Vladimir Putin really wants to end the bloodshed in Ukraine.
Could the recent meeting between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky at the Pope's funeral have shifted the course of this conflict? Ukraine's president has repeatedly said he can't accept U.S. recognition of Moscow's control over Crimea, which was illegally annexed 11 years ago. To accept its loss would mark a profound shift in Ukraine's stance and go against its constitution.
And now the Kremlin is declaring a 72-hour ceasefire in Ukraine next week as Russia marks Victory Day in World War II. The truce to run from the start of May 8th, lasting through the end of May 10th, marking the defeat of Nazi Germany in 1945. Utility crews struggling to get the lights back on across large parts of Spain and Portugal. The Spanish electric utility says could take anywhere from 6 to 10 hours to restore service to large parts of that country. Stocks higher on Wall Street. The Dow is up 270 points. The Nasdaq 70 points higher, and the S&P is up 24. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
An update on a deadly mid-air collision several months ago in the nation's capital.
According to a new report, the pilot of the military Black Hawk helicopter that collided with a passenger airplane over Washington, D.C. in January ignored instructions to change course seconds before the crash. The report published by the New York Times Sunday detailed the Black Hawk's exchanges with air traffic controllers in the lead-up to the disaster, which left 67 people dead. According to the report, the Black Hawk pilot, Captain Rebecca Lobach, was conducting her annual flight evaluation, and her co-pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Lloyd Eves, was serving as her flight instructor. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Russian President Putin thanking North Korean troops for fighting Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region. North Korea has confirmed for the first time that it has sent troops to Russia to help its forces retake the Kursk region that Ukrainian forces seized in a surprise incursion last year. Townhall.com. Legal issues raised by a botched FBI raid in Atlanta 8 years ago will be considered by the nation's highest courts.
Agents stormed Trina Martin's home in 2017 looking for a gang member. She was held at gunpoint while her 7-year-old son was screaming in another room. Agents had the wrong house. Martin sued the government in 2019, but lower courts dismissed the case. Now the Supreme Court agreed in January to take up the matter and will hear arguments Tuesday. The key issue before the justices is under what circumstances people can sue the federal government, that in an effort to hold its law enforcement agencies accountable. Jason Walker reporting.
Could be some dangerous weather today across parts of the Midwest and the plains. Everything from thunderstorms to tornadoes, destructive hail and flash flooding are possible. Minneapolis and Des Moines, among cities, could be hit. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. The Deuce. Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes. Welcome to it. Welcome back to the grind.
Yeah. Hope, I'm going right out the gate with food.
Oh, okay. Actually, I got one for you, too.
Okay. I saw something on the news yesterday morning.
Okay.
The Albuquerque News. I think it was KOB.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about an Oreo flavor that's out new.
Okay.
I've not seen it yet, but I want it. Chocolate-covered pretzel-flavored Oreo. And what they did was it's the cookie part, I think, is a shortbread pretzel-y thing.
What?
And the icing is chocolate. The cream in the middle is chocolate.
No way. No way. They made a pretzel Oreo?
I think it's... I don't think it's full on. I think it's shortbread and pretzel mixed or something. I'm not sure what
I heard a rumble last week about a collaboration with the Flips people. You're familiar with Flips pretzels?
Oh, I am.
And I was thinking, I was under the guise that they were going to do a line of Oreo-coated Flips pretzels.
Maybe
which kind of makes more sense. But if
maybe it's a crossover for each.
If what you say is true, and they're going to put out a salty,
it's out apparently,
shortbread pretzel Oreo.
I saw it on the Albuquerque Channel 4 News, so
I am intrigued.
I feel like if they're talking about it, it's got to be
chocolate
legit
covered pretzel.
Yeah, I'm excited to try this once I see it. I have not began the search, to be honest, but I just saw it on the news yesterday. I was like, huh.
This is according to, and I'm actually a fan of this site. It's one of my go-tos. Actually, back when I was keto, because they give you alternative suggestions. It's called Eat This, Not That.
Okay.
And they're unveiling that, yes, they are debuting chocolate-covered pretzel Oreos. And from what the packaging says, pretzel-flavored cookie. And it is a golden Oreo, so a pretzel-flavored cookie topped with salt and chocolate flavor cream.
I want to try it.
I want to get my hands on some. Now, let's see if it's going to be like one of those available at a Kroger near you.
I hope not.
Chocolate pretzel. Okay, it's coming to a grocery store near you. Limited edition cookie will be available on May 5th. Cinco de Mayo.
Sweet.
Just in time to celebrate.
Well, I'll be on the prowl May 5th for those cookies.
Now, I tried something last week that I was skeptical about.
Yeah.
Because products like this can be real hit or miss. So about a year ago, Subway started talking about and releasing their line of foot-long sides.
Oh, I saw. Are you talking about the nachos?
I'm talking about, if you let me build to it, man.
I didn't say the name.
Yes, I'm talking about the Doritos nachos.
I didn't say the Dorito part. I just said the nachos.
Foot-long nachos that they now
I saw
offer.
the commercial for that.
And that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, huh. Because, and here's what got me, is they showed that the chips still had crunch. That's what got me. I'm like, okay, maybe this could be good. So I went to.
Have you tried it?
Well, Friday.
See, here's the thing. I love the theory.
Mm-hmm.
My problem is I hate Doritos. I do not.
Do you really?
I do not like Doritos.
Okay, so let me take you down my history, my memory lane. When I was a kid, one of my best, well, like elementary school age, when I lived in Medill, Oklahoma, one of my best friends was this kid named Justin Robinson. His dad, they moved to Medill because his dad bought a Subway franchise. It was the first time we'd had Subway in Medill. Now, bear in mind, up until this point, we had like the Straubs, the Grill in Medill. We did have a Pizza Hut, but that was for fancy nights, you know. But we didn't have like many options. So when Subway rolled into Medill, dude, it was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
And because I was best friends with this kid, he used to always hook us up with lunch. So we'd have like, his dad would always bring, and this was my go-to, still to this day is, a 6-inch meatball sub with onions and pickles, a side of nacho cheese Doritos, and a Dr. Pepper. And that was, that flavor combination is like,
quintessential lunch for
it's
you.
a core memory for me.
Yeah.
So that's started my love of nacho cheese Doritos, and I've sort of been like chasing that dragon ever since. These, they hit real close to home, man.
Nice, good.
And what it is,
I'm glad.
It doesn't. They don't get like soggy like normal nachos. I mean, there were a couple, but it literally, the last nacho I had was crispy.
Nice.
And I am one of those people that makes sure that reserves my best bite for last.
For people that like Doritos, they do look like they're good. I would, but I don't know. I'm weird. Like ever since I was a kid. Now pull back of the curtain. My whole life, I've eaten the OG Doritos and the Cool Ranch.
Okay.
And I dislike both of them. I do not.
When you say OG Doritos, you mean the nacho cheese?
The nacho cheese. Yeah.
Okay.
When it was just Doritos. When Doritos came out, and there was
the original Doritos flavor is actually a taco flavor.
Is it? Well,
yeah, like back when they came in the 60s or whatever.
Well,
which is why
80s.
you can now find the taco flavored Doritos. They're the originals. But
Well, back when they came up with a second flavor, Cool Ranch.
Yeah.
That's back that time. That's the 80s.
When I was a kid, they ran a campaign, which is why I still to this day call them Cooler Ranch and Nacho Cheesier, because that's how they ran them. It was Nacho Cheese, but it's Nacho Cheesier and it's Cooler Ranch.
Now, I know they got a bunch of others. I've never had them, never pulled back the crowd. I know they even got one that's just technically like a tortilla chip,
Just a
right?
yeah. And I'm
sure it's fine. But the regular, I don't know if it's about the dust. Now, the one time I eat them is when my wife makes her hominy casserole, because one of the ingredients in that's Doritos, and there's enough cheese and hominy and green chili and ground beef for it.
It also sogs in.
Yeah, it doesn't taste like Doritos. It tastes like a casserole.
And the thing with Doritos is, since they are a tortilla-based chip, you know, the Frito-Lay company, it's they still have that kind of corniness to them because of the Frito-Lay company. So
now, okay, go. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I can understand where you're coming, but it's white corn tortillas that they use. It's corn tortillas, so it's.
Now here's something that's a little weird. Something I am a fan of, and I'm okay with the mix in it, is the nacho cheese munchies.
Oh,
they got the little Doritos, the pretzels, the Cheetos. I love that. The Sun Chips, I think, are in there too. I love those.
My core problem with all of these snack mixes is ratios. Now, I never did this as a kid, but I really wanted to do this as like a science experiment, to just have an average bag of like Chex Mix and separate it out by pieces, because the ratio of good bits to bad bits is always way off. You get them little square pretzels and the pretzel rods, and there's like a ton of those, and there's just a handful or so of Chex.
See, I'm usually, like, for the munchies, I'm usually the other way around. I feel it's a little light on the pretzels.
Really?
I think it's a little heavy on the other chips, because the Sun Chips, the Dorito chips, kind of blend together a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of.
So it's a good handful snack.
Like, it's kind of like the one with the, and this isn't those. It's the ones with the Melba toast and the.
That's what I was gonna say.
Those go a little heavy on the Melba toast.
The one that's where you and I differ, because I was gonna say the one best snack ratioed snack is Gardettos.
Yeah.
They recognized they had a good thing going with the rye chips, and they started putting more in.
Right.
In fact, you can now get. It's almost like, oops, all rye chips.
I always like them weird things that's in them that I don't know what they are. They're like a yellowish white, shiny. Sometimes they're loggish. Sometimes they're like
it's usually like I think it's supposed to be like a breadstick.
I love those.
Those are great. Yeah,
I don't know
those
what
are
they
great.
call
They're
them.
coated.
Never
in that,
seen them in anything else.
They're coated in that saltiness.
That kind of other thing that's kind of got a crunch with a rough edge. That's more It's more. It's like
a floret almost. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a rough, like a rock edge, like when you eat it, and it's a darker brown, and it's usually shaped kind of like a breadstick.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's I think there's like sourdough pieces and those.
That one's
but
good.
it's a good snack mix. Personally, it's my go-to.
God, I grew up on trail mix. I ate a lot of trail mix hiking and stuff. So
now trail mix is another great example because if you look at any trail mix, it is going to be peanut heavy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, you're going to find more peanuts than anything else.
And I know there's so many different ones, but for me, the OG, the M&Ms, the peanuts, the mixed nuts with cashews, peanuts, raisins. Did I say raisins?
Yeah.
And
granola.
Yeah.
Usually it's like granola. Oatmeal or oats of some type.
Oh, I love when
raisins
they put the
and
oatmeals
peanuts.
in there.
Yeah, and people say GORP stands for good old raisins, and it's granola, oats, raisins, peanuts. That's how I've always heard the ratio. You know the one that gets me, and it's not a salty, but it's a sweet snack, and I'm one of these days I'm going to get a bag, and before I eat any of them, I'm going to ratio it out. But High Chews. High Chews are like my favorite. Chewy candy. Candy.
Those things,
yeah, those little, but the good flavors because they're always like unique, like guava or like pineapple. But the really really good ones, there's like 2 of, and then there's like 15 of the grapes. It's like those are fine, but the really really good ones, the ones you want, there's like 2 of them.
I'm just one of those guys when it comes to that world. Grape cherry. I'm that guy. I love those.
Yeah,
never go wrong with a grape or a cherry of it.
Now, I will tell you, your appreciation for a grape flavor will change if you ever try Japanese style grape. If they use a green grape, which is it's less acidic and it's a little bit more tart, but it's way way sweeter.
I don't eat grapes. But isn't the rule of thumb the green grapes are sweeter than the purple or red grapes?
Yes, because purple tend to be more like for like wines, like tart, and have more like the tannins.
Yeah, where the green ones are more tasty.
Yeah, which is generally
and the ones that look like the cotton candy ones are green, right?
Those are
the ones that they made taste like cotton candy.
Heavily genetically modified grapes. Yeah. I love that. People are like, I don't want GMO in my food while eating a handful of cotton candy flavored.
So does that mean
grapes.
they go away now that RFK is doing his thing of those cotton candy grapes going away? I know they're getting all the dyes.
That's that's food dyes. I don't think it has anything to do with
I don't know.
genetic
They're making grapes
modification.
taste like cotton candy. It got to be something not natural going on there. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we're not going to find out now.
Just saying. I don't know many cotton candy trees that are growing on.
It's the opening of, was it Holy Grail?
Yeah.
The person in the department in charge of detecting whether cotton candy and grapes is a bad thing or a good thing has been sacked.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's how you talked about the diabolical Skittles, Reese's Pieces, M&M bowl mix.
Oh, yeah.
Cotton candy grapes, regular green grapes, just kind of mix it all in there and see what you get kind of thing. I know, like you said, some of those cotton candy ones kind of look like roided up a little bit. But
well, that's the thing is even like the regular table grapes they sell at Sam's Club, you can eat those things like a hand fruit. It's a 2-bite snack now.
I'm a grape. It tastes like cotton candy.
Like I used to laugh when I hear about people talking about, having somebody peel their grapes.
Yeah.
These grapes look like you could actually literally just peel them like an orange.
These grapes here, we slice them like tomatoes.
And I never understood that. What's the appeal of a peeled grape? Like one of my favorite parts of the grape
asking the wrong guy.
Yeah, I know you're not a grape guy, but one of my favorite parts of the grape is the snap. Yeah. Much like when you're eating a fine sausage. You get a good snap, you've got a quality product. You take all that snap away when you rip the skin off. It just feels like one more chance to be cruel to the grape before you eat it.
These are the people that love bread pudding, flan, cream corn, mashed taters, very soft foods.
I didn't hear anything wrong with any of the things you just said.
I like them all. It's not,
Yeah.
Well, the bread pudding, I could take or leave on that one.
I don't know, man.
My wife's a fan, but all I think of is Vegas vacation. Give it to me extra runny, and I'm like, I'm out.
Runny tonight.
I'm out.
Yeah, if it's not so runny though, it can be quite delightful.
But that's where my head goes every.
And I'm telling you,
time.
I know you poo it, but you're missing out until you try a little spotted dick. It's fantastic.
I tried it once. I've never had it.
It's great.
One time I'll have it. That I'll try one time to say I did.
There you go.
I'll try anything like that once, but certain things I've been on the earth long enough to know I don't need details.
It's like if you like raisins bread or raisins, nuts and cake. That's basically what spotted dick is.
Not my top group of pairings of things to put together. I'll eat it, but I'll never request it. That's like the stuff they make you eat at holidays, and you're like, "Here, Grandma spent all night making this." Like, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You really should not have.
That's my favorite part about fruit cakes. Is like, is this a Skittle?
Yeah.
What kind of fruit are we dealing in?
She wrapped the cat again. Out of that there. Amy McVeigh-Teus, someone's in our lobby, I'm assuming it's her, waiting patiently to join us here from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. She'll give us an update here, talking probably scholarships, praying at the pole Wednesdays, and other things going on to the Historical Society here.
I don't know if the cat likes it, but I sure do.
I'll take some of the yeller. And don't be stingy.
Don't get cheap on me.
I know that guy's a loon, but he's an American icon.
He's an American
All right, it is 21 minutes after 8. Let's take a look at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Lots of sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s, maybe 90 around the Carlsbad area. Wind will be a little bit gusty, 20 to 25 miles an hour. Overnight, we're expecting clear skies, our low dropping to about 50. We get another sunny day on Tuesday with low to mid-80s. Slim chance of a shower on Tuesday night, then right around 80 and sunny again on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 19%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 9 miles per hour. They're going to do us this weekend like they've done us the last 2 weekends. I don't know if this is some kind of thing or not, but here, let me get through the week before I get to the weekend. I get ahead of myself. For today, sunny and 86. Winds will be a breezy out of the west or out of the north early, 5 to 10. Out of the southwest this afternoon, 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 50. Winds will remain breezy out of the west, 15 to 25. They'll drop down 5 to 15 after midnight tonight. Tuesday, sunny, 82 tomorrow. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. We are looking at a 20% chance at some rain Tuesday night. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 50. Southwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 82. West winds 5 to 15. Thursday, sunny and 86. And they're going to do it to us again this weekend. They're going to hit us with these significant rain chances, and then we'll see if they back off this week. But they're doing it again. Friday, 50% chance of rain, mainly for the afternoon, mostly cloudy. High of only 69, so we're going to be going from 86 on Thursday to near 70 on Friday. Friday night, we're looking at a 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 55 for an overnight low. And then Saturday, a 50% chance at showers and thunderstorms, cloudy, and 76 for a high, and then sunny and windy on Sunday with a high of 84. So we'll see. I'm going to take a stab. They're going to do this. Although last week they kind of did it different, but they'll say 50, 60%, and then by Tuesday, Wednesday, like a 10%, 20% on Saturday afternoon from 3 to 5. But we'll see. I keep complaining about them enough that they're just going to dump on us. And as long as they don't do it all in 1 hour, I'm okay with that. Just spread it out over the weekend. All right, 8:24. We're going to take a 2.5-minute break, and then Amy McVeigh-Teus will join us on the other side from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Don't go away.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our Our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners. Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan, subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in month's end.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
Interested in being an electric lineman? Central Valley Electric Cooperative is hosting a lineman camp May 29th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the CVE office at 1403 North 13th Street in Artesia. Camp is open to ages 17 to 22. Come spend the day with CVE linemen and learn about electricity and perform hands-on activities. Lunch will be provided. For more information and to register, visit cvecoop.org or call 575-746-3571. See if you have what it takes to be an electric lineman on May 29th at CVE's Lineman Camp. We hope to see you there.
Maybe your AC unit needs a little tender, loving care. If you don't know where to turn, then you don't know Jack. Fergalicious. In fact, they're downright funky. Fergalicious. Let the boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating get your AC unit ice cold, just like some of my lady friends. Don't let any fool make you lose your cool. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating. If you don't know Fergie, then you don't know Jack. 632-2660.
Fergalicious. The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico, Amy McVeigh-Tejas back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Wearing that hat today, even though it's a busy character counts week.
It is.
But Historical Society.
That's right.
Today. So.
But through history, we'll celebrate, and we want to say Happy Character Counts Week to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a busy week of stuff.
That's right. A lot of fun things, and I think I love when other organizations are doing other things that just kind of follow suit right in the Character Counts Week. You know?
Absolutely.
And to us, we were talking about that last week. Really, every week's Character Counts Week, right?
Well, it's kind of like it's character counts is the thing that you need every organization to have for it to work.
Amen. Amen.
Without character, without the pillars of character infused in it, it's probably not going to be a successful organization.
I was talking to you, Challenge, last week, too, and telling them that, in my personal opinion, I have the privilege of working with two things that I think we can all mutually agree on at some capacity, and that's history and character, right?
Absolutely.
We're all making history through characters. So.
It could be a real character in history, too.
Oh, we've got some characters, don't we?
There's been a few.
We resemble that remark. Oh.
But, so we are celebrating. Of course, with that, I know we'll kind of shift gears here.
That's
but
right.
Don't forget this week they're going to be honoring the badge, honoring our teachers.
Teachers of character, honoring volunteers.
Yeah, the volunteers, just like the traditions are each week.
Yes.
So I invite you to get on the Character Counts for Chavez County's Facebook page.
For sure.
And you can kind of see the schedule events. And please, if you can.
That's right.
I know selections have already been made, folks. Can't make nominations.
That is exactly
but
right.
We'd love to invite you to these events and be a part and share these. People that the community has recognized as some pretty awesome characters in our community.
Shout out for Tim Fuller, Executive Director of Character Counts. We can always use members. We can always use board members. We're just coming together to celebrate character. And you're exactly right. Following us on Facebook. If you have any questions, you can message through Facebook. Give us a call. We'll just partner and celebrate as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But Historical Society's always got stuff going on too. There's always something on the always a few irons in the fire going on with the Historical Society. Of course, real quick, since we got it fresh, this Wednesday and pretty much every Wednesday, don't forget they do meet at the pole. We call Pray at the Pole at 9 a.m.
And this week's a little bit unique.
Yeah.
So this Wednesday, you're welcome to come to the poll.
Yeah.
But we're pushing it a day. We're pushing it a day.
We're going to do it.
On
I would like to call it a 2-day poll festival.
That's good. Hey, I'm good.
We're
going to
say we come Wednesday, do normal praying at the pole festivities.
There you go.
And then National Day of Prayers right on the hot heels of that. So let's do it all over again the next day.
So call. I think if so many people drive by, and I hear this all the time. Oh, I saw you praying at the pole. Well, then
come on down and
be
stop
safe. And turn and come head up if you're with churches, small groups, businesses,
anybody,
organizations. If you're driving by, just make it a point. And you're exactly right. Wednesday at 9. But our primary event will be on Thursday. Thursday, National Day of Prayer, May the 1st, 9 a.m. And I can't believe we're saying May the 1st this week.
I know.
Wow.
We are almost halfway through the year already. We're 5 months in. It's crazy. So.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
But we've got other fun things going on. Just a friendly reminder, Fred's been busy. Robin's been busy. We've got great volunteers giving tours for organizations. Got a couple of schools that missed out with the crazy wind and stuff, so we're going to follow that up.
Kind of
we're
make good
finish
fourth grade
up.
tours.
If you're part of homeschool programs, we're working on some special tours, working on some special organizations coming. A lot going on at the museum.
Yeah.
So if you say, what the heck's going on? Well, you better get with the program and follow us on social media. We've got a lot of fun things going on. A couple of save the dates we do want to announce. I know I am a huge advocate because my mother was part of the original Holiday Magic family.
Yeah.
And,
unfortunately, with the convention center being out of commission, that's really kind of shut that tradition down for a little bit here.
Well, I can't believe we'll have been, that was a hard time last year from October to November. So to me, this natural little gathering came together, I think, within like 1 week. Poor Danielle Gonzalez was doing things in the middle of the night, and we were double checking things. A little gathering came together, and I'm here to say that little gathering from last year is staying the same as his little gathering. We all know we're limited on space in the archives. Sure. There's no way we could ever do Holiday Magic justice.
No,
but
we need some true magic, like magicians, to physically... do some Harry Potter.
And we're always leery to do outside events in November. So our little November 22nd gathering, just like last year, we'll have some fun members of the society, from Deborah Lucas to Danielle Gonzalez to the Stranges, signing books by Donna and John. Should have been Annie, some fun hats, Desert Cowgirl with some turquoise jewelry. Oh, and we can't leave out the Pecos Valley Chili Company.
Oh, yeah.
Got to spice it up a little.
Put it this way, we're giving you an excuse to shop.
There you go. So mark the calendars. That'll be, 10 to 4 on November the 22nd. You're like, Amy, come on now.
I know that's a ways away.
But mark your calendars. Sure. It's a fun little event. Somebody explained, why aren't y'all doing more people or whatever? Well, this is a sweet little gathering that came together with a handful. Oh, yeah, and Trina Padilla, she's part of Holiday. I don't believe I mentioned her name. But this is just a small gathering, and we encourage others to do a lot of fun gatherings.
Sure.
Because I know last year what happened is there were so many things to do that weekend.
What we'd like to see, if there's some other groups that want to do anything, let's partner, pair, and say, okay, we don't have space here, but let's promote your event and say, is it going to be the same day or the next weekend at the Liberty or another community gathering space in town is? And we say, hey, come out this weekend and then go hit them next weekend, because we got some other great holiday magic vendors that are going to be some different ones that are going to be over there. Yeah, that's
for sure. And
that's
we
where
were
we're at.
part of other things too. We were the weekend before, weekend after. We were part of other things. So just fun little things. While I'm thinking about it too, this last weekend, Battle of the Books. We worked with Tammy Rowe from Military Heights. As a matter of fact, she's fourth grade school tour. Shout out to her class that made customized, handwritten, artist level thank yous for school tours.
Wow.
So the Tammy Rowe special envelope is wow. It's like part of our history now. We've come accustomed. Now, I love all schools. They just really make it a point to learn about it, draw it, discuss
They embraced it.
So, I mean, we always look forward to the Tammy Rowe. But Battle of the Books was this past weekend. We had a little booth with some fun other friends of ours. So thank you for all of that. I know there were kids from Las Cruces and everything. I love it when you see, I can't remember the novel nights. I love the names of fun little book groups and stuff. So thank you to them and that fun event too.
Absolutely.
See, when people are saying, Amy, what are you doing? We're always, and I wasn't part of that. We headed to Las Cruces and literally blew back yesterday, Mike. Oh my gosh.
Because of the wind and everything.
I saw friends that got stranded for 3-4 hours. Thank goodness Ralph and I just flew.
Our phones were blowing up all afternoon here with the dust storms and the boop.
I bet.
And,
so we saw a lot of cars pulled over. Thank goodness we were able to get through. So anyways, a lot of
and then we were
things.
getting tornado warnings on Saturday.
Yeah. Yes. And Ralph and I, every time we leave town, it's, crazy fun things or whatever. We were hoping for rain because usually when we leave town, it rains.
Well, it did everything but, I think.
Typical. It's about that same way in Las Cruces,
too,
or whatever.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of other fun things going on. Probably one of our favorite times of the year, and that scholarship time.
Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness. So this is our first public announcement to, first of all, thank and congratulate every graduate from all schools. I know, Mike, we had 11 or more high schools represented through our applications.
Excellent. All throughout the state.
And then 13 different universities, colleges.
Oh, wow.
So that 25 schools represented.
All throughout probably the
college
Southwest on those colleges.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I cannot thank you enough. We cannot thank every applicant enough for their applications.
Mm-hmm.
We had to make hard decisions. We had some record-breaking application numbers that made it harder every year. So
that's a good
our
problem
scholarship, thank you to our scholarship committee that's dedicated to reading every application, doing those spreadsheets.
They do a lot of work during this time.
Oh my goodness!
And
I mean, you're talking
it's a dogfight
hours
because,
and hours and
quite
hours.
frankly, every one of these applicants are deserving.
Oh my goodness!
And that's the problem. It's like picking your favorite kids. How do you do that? You can't. But that's the job they got.
That's right.
So that's what they have to do.
So I want to thank our scholarship committee chair, Travis Ackerman, numerous board members and committee members that are on this. But I'm ready for some fun announcements. Are you ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
Yes,
Let's
this
do
is
it.
Fun. So 2025 Historical Society scholarships, continuing education, 2 scholarships given in the amount of $1,250. Ava J. Rowe, New Mexico State University, Talissa Espinosa, New Mexico Junior College. Congratulations to those two. We had an outstanding number of continuing education applicants. And Mike, from all over the United States, but also those local connections. These amazing kids locally going to universities all over. So those were hard decisions to make.
Awesome.
Humanities and Arts, 2 scholarships for $1,250. Trenton M. White, Dexter High School, and Jacob R. Hardwick, Roswell High School. Congratulations to both of those. That was a hard-fought category. Woo! I mean, my goodness. And that's who we are. That's our humanities and arts. That's the original scholarships. So somebody asked me,
Sure.
how long have you been given scholarships? Have you always given those scholarships?
Those are the OGs.
The original is humanities and arts. That's who we are. That's what we are. And I love to think, I know we have got artists doing great things. I know we have tattoo artists doing great things.
Mm-hmm.
Great category.
Well, and to be honest, that's when you go to a museum, not just ours, but any museum.
Yes.
What are you looking at? You're looking at the lives of these folks, and a lot of it's expressed through art, through these. It's great to go see this old desk that some document was signed on. That's really cool, but more people are excited to see the Mona Lisa. Just saying.
Oh,
you know
just
what I
saying.
mean?
It is what it is. I mean,
because of what it represents.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So yeah, art is very much a part of it.
The STEM category, that's always a highly sought after category. 2 scholarships in the amount of $1,250. Victor Barbosa, New Mexico Military Institute, and Nailani Kobos, Dexter High School. Congratulations to those 2 amazing, dynamic individuals going to do great things. We're just happy to be part of it. And last but not least, the character category. That is always one of our largest applications. It covers so many different.
It's the broadest category.
Well, it really is. And, you, through the resilience and through these kids that have risen above COVID and all those circumstances to just come out shining. I think that's so amazing. And I love to talk about, early college. We have so many amazing schools, but when you look at these applications from kids at early college, graduating many of them with these associate's degrees and doing great things. When you're getting a high school diploma and your associates and those types of things.
At the same time.
Shout out to early college and what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
But with no further ado, character 2 scholarships in the amount of $1,250. Esmeralda Moraz Ortiz, Early College High School, and Gabriel Mason Anaya, Roswell High School. So these are the 2025 scholarship recipients.
Awesome. Congratulations to all of them.
Huge shout out to Troy Hayes and the Linda Hayes Trust, the TSI Family Fund, and FM Nelson. So these scholarships right here were mainly funded by the Linda Hayes Trust. And we've have others like the TSI Family Fund and FM Nelson are also helping not only these scholarships, but also coming up next month. This committee never really rests.
It's true. It's kind of on to the next thing.
Next month, we're going to be making those hard decisions for the first class of 2025, first graduation class at New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy.
Awesome.
They'll be graduating in June, and then we'll finish up with the other group
scholarships
in
for
December.
some of those folks that are moving on.
So we had, I want to shout out to New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy. We have had some grounds issues. I hope, Fred, if you're listening, challenges. There's always something going on with our grounds, and I want to thank All Star Landscaping, Cameron with All Star Landscaping for always being there. But in this particular instance, New Mexico Youth Challenge Academy, Mike, they showed up. When they showed up, they helped us save thousands of dollars and help Cameron get some rock and block off some drainage issues that we've had from flood and everything.
Sure.
And so we're working hard. Thank you to Fred Boggs that heads up that committee. There's always something going on. But Youth Challenge really stepped up. Now, we did give them pizza, Mike.
Nice.
We did give them goodies, treats, blessings, but they
you can
did
fund
leave
a lot of
with
things
pizza.
with pizza.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
you
right.
can move
that
mountains
made it
with
all
pizza.
right. That's right. You're dadgum right. That's right. And we had plenty of pizza. So I just want to thank you. And, we've got kids that have been volunteering for years. We've got kids going from Notre Dame to NMUR or whatever. But one thing I want to remind people is the Historical Society doesn't just hand out scholarships. We're developing relationships that continue. Some of these kids want to continue to come be volunteers with the society. They're keeping us updated. They're getting married. They're having kids now, Mike. Mike, we're having like kids almost not in kindergarten yet. They've been from a scholarship.
Yeah. That's that part of getting old. It's cool, but sucks at the same time.
I'm pretty soon going to be a grandma.
Right.
But you know what? We're just developing relationships and encouraging these kids to come back and just invest in our community. And we're seeing that happen.
Yeah.
And we're just continuing to, just like through Leadership Roswell. You know what I was looking at, Mike? There's no coincidence. Some of these kids that received our scholarships, there's no coincidence they were part of Teen Leadership Institute and those other things.
Well, these kids that are, they're spreading the field. They're out. They're being aggressive. These kids are they're goal oriented. They've got what they want to do, and we are part of the process for them to achieve that goal. So they're gonna, kids that do this, they're smart. They're throwing their eggs in many baskets. And trying to see how many chickens they come at the end of the day.
And they're not winning in every different facet, but they're just staying involved.
This is the path. This is the way.
That's right.
Like if you want to be successful, you got to put yourself out there, and whatever it is that you're wanting to do, whether it's paint or go create the next rocket to Jupiter or whatever it is, you got to put it out there.
That's
you got to put that work in.
That's
do
right.
Whatever it is.
I want to remind people also we're developing our team, as many organizations are, for the air races. And you can be part of the volunteer crew for the Historical Society. And we might be the Hysterical Society.
But yeah, if you put it this way.
Yes.
If you're wanting to get in on the races and see all this stuff, we need volunteers because we've got to have a pool, a list of volunteers to be available this. So if you're trying to get in, like, to go to the races and kind of get in free and kind of, see the stuff. And all we ask is you work a few hours during the course of the 4 days or whatever it is that's going on.
That's exactly right.
Whether
September
it's a day or whatever it is.
Yes.
And then while you worked your hour, go hang out for the next couple hours and go see.
That's exactly right.
So if you want to kind of get in and on the thing and get some inside swag and everything else as a volunteer, reach out to Amy and reach out to the Historical Society, and we would love to add you to our volunteer pool. And by the way, you might find out that we got a lot of other cool stuff. Like if you're in is the airplanes, you might realize we got a lot of cool stuff at the Historical Society too.
It's so true. And you know what, Mike? So what I loved is some of these kids even through applying through scholarships and learning more about that. So we encourage that for sure. So we need, if you're not familiar with this process, you can't just show up at the air races to volunteer.
Yeah, don't work that way.
And we want to encourage all locals to support all organizations.
Absolutely.
But you need to get your volunteer application in. That's what the air races would be saying.
And if you're not attached to anybody and you want to kind of get in,
some of our people are like helping at Grace Community Church, all these different employers of this. But call the museum at 622-8333. We have the handbooks and the applications. We need to get those.
Well, and that's the thing too. And this is a different discussion for another day. But you and I have had this. When it comes to here locally, there's a 100 to 200 people that are consistently involved in multiple groups and things.
So true.
And guess what? This is where we kind of this is a problem because yes, the Kiwanis and the Rotaries, they all have great people. They're also involved here, and so they're all having to pick their one place.
True.
And none of us can probably fill those vendors because this is where you, the public, you want to pick your organization. Historical Society, we got some great stuff, but if we aren't the one that floats your boat, go talk to the Rotary Club.
And I think it'd be cool if somebody did volunteered all of those days, a different day for a different organization.
Absolutely.
Get your hands, because I think we need those perspectives. We need to learn about this process.
Absolutely.
This is going to be part of our
family.
family.
So use this as maybe you're into some of our nonprofits in town and things like that.
Somebody texted me just earlier, Amy, when's the next Texas Roadhouse night? If you're listening,
we just had one not too long ago.
We did. The next one is June the 10th.
Okay.
Then we're going to have one July the 22nd, and then we're going to have one in October 14th. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, social media, our website, and blood drive. We're going to have another blood drive in the fall.
Good deal. So please sign up now for that one. If depending on when your time to blow. Like I'm thinking, since it's the fall, you probably could donate one time in between.
Exactly.
Now and
you're exactly
in
right.
the fall there.
And we are going to have a special announcement. I will be back on the radio with Mike. Sorry, Mike. I just bug Mike all the time. We will soon be making a very exciting, fun announcement about the Heritage Dinner Honoree.
Yes.
We will be coming back on the radio, so listen for more information about that. And keep collecting loot change. We need support. And while you're cleaning up, I just saw somebody cleaning out their car the other day, and change was falling out. And I was like, oh, my goodness.
Hold on.
Give us a call.
Yeah.
Amazing Robin will pick up loose change and that kind of stuff. So we can always use the support.
Absolutely. Hey, I know this might be a lot of income here, but any of those car wash vacuum cleaner places when you start cleaning out the vacuum cleaners, you got any want to donate some of that? Although I ain't gonna lie, we might not have to do more fundraisers if you keep that one up, because I've seen the money that comes out of those things.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, those.
Oh my goodness.
I've folding cash.
That would be our ultimate loose change drive if we had the car wash drive.
I remember when I was
oh my
16, I worked at a gas station.
Oh.
And it was an island basically where they drove. So I sold cigarettes and took money for gas basically in a little booth. But there was a car wash on the property there that was part of it. And so the car wash was going, but then they had a half dozen vacuum cleaners where those big red, and the guy would come every so often to empty those, and he'd show me, man. It was literally that was his supplemental income. The business paid for itself, but he got so much extra cash. Hundreds of dollars every time he visited.
Oh my goodness.
It was crazy.
Oh my goodness. That's so every penny counts.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does.
Hey, give us a call if you want more information about this, anything. We're doing tours. We're doing fun things. A lot of things going on. Working on some other events. We're trying to get this event calendar. Oh, and before I forget, I know we'll be announcing Museum Day very soon.
Yes.
So follow us for that. Working on those dates and stuff.
And that's when we get all of our museums in town on board, and you come see. And even though again some of them are still dealing with issues from flood, I can think at least 2 of them right off the top of my head.
Yes.
We will be representing all. Hopefully by then.
You better believe it.
Like Walker, I'm definitely hoping is open by the time Museum Day's back.
Well, and one thing I love is we're just family, and we just had that R&M Culture Day. Shout out to everybody, the library and Caroline.
Yeah, the
Brooks
library was busy that
and
weekend.
Lori Roof and so many things. You know what? We're resilient. We come together.
Yeah, cowboy poetry and cowboy art Friday night, and then everything else Saturday.
On.
Yeah.
So shout out to Enid and the librarian. I just love. We're all family, and we're all coming together to do great things.
Absolutely.
We really appreciate it.
Oh, one more thing before we go, since you talked about the Texas Roadhouse night in June.
Yeah, yes.
Over the weekend, we had a meal over there, and now, granted, most time I'll get a steak or something. 'Cause hello, when in Rome.
Hello.
When in Rome.
Right.
However, I wasn't feeling steak the other day. It was a lunch, and I was like, I don't want no big old steak for lunch.
No,
you know, I was like,
you need a little something.
so I tried, and I highly recommend it.
Okay.
The portobello chicken.
Okay.
So it's the chicken breast, grilled chicken breast, with a portobello mushrooms and a mushroom sauce, and they put this. I can't remember what cheese it is, but it's enough to. I think it's a mozzarella Colby Jack cheese combo. Delightful.
Okay.
Just saying, I licked the plate. It was that good. That was pretty good.
Okay.
Pairs nicely with mashed potatoes and green beans.
Yes. Oh, yes. See? Now we're talking.
There you go. So maybe that be your June fair.
There you go. Yes, absolutely.
Good deal. Is there anything we missed, Amy? Did we get all?
Give me a call, 622-8333. If I'm not available, leave a message. RoswellNMHistory.org, historydirector@outlook.com. And we've got people needing to do research, I know, today. If you need specific questions in the archive, 622-1176.
Yeah, reach out, John, and he's got a few volunteers that work with him that they can arrange time to be down there with you. Another thing, too, is at the archives facility, we do have a meeting space that can seat about 75 people. It does have a full home-based kitchen.
Right.
It's not commercial grade, but it's like the one in your house.
So nice.
So if you can cook up a meal in there if you need to, whatever, but maybe not for 100 people, but unless they're eating finger foods or something. Anyway, it's a house-sized kitchen. But if you have a meeting, like if you got a meeting thing, or maybe if you have a small reception, or I know we're in quinceañera season and all that, and now that the weather's getting nicer, graduations coming up here, maybe you have a small little graduation get together. Don't want everybody on your house, of course. Don't forget, the property is a beautiful place for pictures, especially we were talking about, the garden clubs and all the people that volunteer to help make that place look awesome. Well, the fruit of that is it's a great place to come for photos. I mean,
we're seeing a lot of caps and gowns lately, Mike.
Yeah. Well, the J.P. White porch is one of those grandiose. It evokes an image. I don't care what you've been. You walk up to the J.P. White house and you're standing on that grandiose porch, and the grand entrance, which is very Victorian, very much of that. That it evokes a certain way. Like,
it does.
Like you can't help it. It's like when you go into churches sometimes.
It's true.
And you no matter what you're wearing or whatever, you still feel a little like you gotta.
It's true.
That evokes that same kind of.
Exactly.
All right, I gotta be on my P's and Q's.
Well, and we have geocache. And you know what, Mike? So funny. We even have a pretty backside. That sounds funny. Right?
Yeah. Thank you.
We do.
I've been working out.
One of our photographers, I'm not going to say names, she doesn't prefer the front area porch. She likes our backside, like the brick.
The family backyard kind of.
So, see, I love that but geocaching, if you're not familiar with geocaching, that's a big thing. That's a big, so we have our own geocache. Yeah. Familiarize yourself more with that.
I've learned just in our board meetings a little bit about it. But
kind of exciting.
It's like, kind of like Pokemon. But not game like that. It's more for adults.
An adventure, like not hide and seek, but
like a scavenger hunt. Yeah,
exactly.
In that vein.
But Google,
but digital.
I assure you, if you say what is geocaching, that website's going to come up. You can register. It's a lot of fun, and people are really coming.
I think a lot of people that are like retirees that RV and stuff, people that travel a lot. This is like a kind of an activity that they like to participate.
Exactly, and I want to thank Mr. Grady. He has been so wonderful to call and say, "Why in the world don't you have geocache on your property?" Well, now we do, thanks, Mr. Grady.
And you shall receive.
That's exactly right.
Now he better be on the thing, like whatever proof you've been there.
Oh yes, oh that's right. Yes. And it is a little bit of a challenge to find our geocache. But if you have any questions, just call the museum 622-8333. We'll be happy to work together on anything.
And then don't forget, we do tours by appointment. If you got family, friends, whatever, just give us a call. Pick the time. We'll arrange to have some docents there to
so we're
guide you
through. Competing, but I am going to say some of our tours guests right now are really giving totally different tours.
Oh.
And we've had people come
like
back
make
with
requests?
Robin and then with Fred, and they're learning and growing and doing unique things.
So are they taking requests yet on docents? Like, can I request Fred for my tour?
And I would love to say, last time I had Fred, next time I'll have Robin or others or whatever.
Give it a try. We'll see what we can do on
Melanie,
that
all
one.
kinds of
Yes, these people do have their own lives and things.
We do.
But
so give
I'm
us
sure
a call
if you do make a request, we'll see what we can do to honor that.
So we'll do our best to work it out.
And don't forget Mother's Day, Father's Day, right around the corner.
Books.
Peter Hurd prints. If you're looking for great gifts for mom or dad here in the next couple months,
some new books.
Absolutely. The especially the the artwork and things. It's and we're so thankful that the herd and that family's
it's
kind of been
amazing. And we've had requests.
It's a great gift that they've really helped us.
I love
over
when
there.
we're sending them to Canada and all over.
Poland, I think.
Yes. So if you have any questions, give us a call or email me at historydirector@outlook.com. Follow us on social media for some of our fun posts.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. We appreciate it.
And then see you on Wednesday and Thursday this week. Praying at the Pole 2 times. 9 o'clock Wednesday, and then official for National Day of Prayer on Thursday. Like I said, Wednesday's always informal, so please come.
If you're not available this week, from here on out, it's Wednesday.
Yeah,
so
but this week we're doing a twofer because
there you go.
It's warranted.
There you go. There you go.
Because
That's
we
right.
need to. And you know what? Never heard someone say,
"No,
I prayed too much on that one." Never heard. Never heard that one before.
Whether you bow your head and just have a moment of silence.
Two things you never pray too much on that one, and
You're
not
exactly right.
never. That was too much cheese. Never heard that one either.
And then throw ice cream in there.
That's right.
We're not cheesy, but we love ice cream.
That's
so,
right. Well, thank you, Amy.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next time.
We appreciate it.
All right, it's 8:55. Let's pause for news, Chaves County sports, and I might be able to work in that Red Apple update. Don't go away.
With your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Thanks for joining us. Here's what we're following today. First off, Eddy County rescuers were busy over the weekend with multiple water rescues from vehicles. The first victim was rescued from a truck as it swept along the Black River Village Road at about 3 in the morning on Saturday. Then a second rescue a couple of hours later. This happened near Higby Hole Road. Both victims were safely removed from the rushing water. Officials are reminding people that if road signs and traffic barrels are in place, it's illegal to drive around them, and they're placed for your protection. Eddy County bidding farewell to Roxanne Brannon, the county's HR director. Brannon retiring after working 13 years with the county. Also honored recently was Lori Pruitt, who is retiring after 14 years at the treasurer's office, and Celicia Salcido, who retired after 15 years with the county's DWI program. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
So let's catch you up on some softball action from over the weekend. Roswell placed an important doubleheader at Hobbs and splits a pair with the Eagles. That first game, that's a big deal, winning 9-4. Jaslyn Horton, a senior, with 3 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Alani Taryn, a freshman, 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. But Hobbs wins the nightcap in a wild one, 18-13. So Roswell is 8-14 overall, 4-4 in district play. They'll play a doubleheader at Carlsbad. Tomorrow starts at 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, Goddard loses a pair to Artesia on the road. First game 7-0. Second game 10-0. Goddard will be hosting Portales, doubleheader tomorrow at 5. And Dexter gives Albuquerque High a game on Saturday, but loses by a score of 9-6. The score was 6-6 when the Bulldogs scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
Stocks open a new week after they did better last week than many expected and rose for the week. After plunging last Monday, stocks rose the next 4 days in a row and have been up 2 of the last 3 weeks, though that does not mean volatility is over. For the week, the Dow was up more than 2%, the S&P was up more than 4%, and the Nasdaq was up almost 7%. The most closely watched consumer confidence index fell to its lowest in 35 years, especially among middle-income families, and consumer confidence fell to the lowest on record among Democrats and independents. Leading gainers Friday included Charter Spectrum, Merck, NVIDIA, and Tesla. Top losing stocks included T-Mobile, Intel, and Old Dominion Freight Line. Tariffs have fueled car purchases across the country and some iPhone upgrades too. But Pepsi says people are cutting back on spending, and the airlines say business and personal travel are both down. Steve Zurich at Nielsen says there's so much uncertainty right now, shoppers don't know what to do. All they can do is control their spending. With business, I'm Joe Connolly.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report. Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Building Bridges, That Which Unites Us. A thought-provoking new podcast hosted by Michael Hirschman, CEO of Solaviv Group.
I'm Michael Hirschman. Join me as I tackle vital national topics that affect the man on the street to the executive suite with unscripted, authentic perspectives that spark in-depth discussions with experts in the field.
Go to buildingbridges.nyc to watch episodes or download wherever you get your podcasts.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Peace may return to Ukraine for at least 72 hours next week. Russian President Putin declaring a temporary ceasefire, marking Victory Day in World War II. President Trump admits to being frustrated with Russian and Ukrainian leaders as he tries to broker a peace deal.
Even though the Kremlin has declared a 72-hour ceasefire in Ukraine next week, President Trump remains unhappy with both Russia and Ukraine.
He is increasingly frustrated with leaders of both countries. He wants to see a permanent ceasefire.
Until now, Russia's Vladimir Putin has refused to accept a complete, unconditional ceasefire. Meanwhile, the Trump administration describes this week as very critical in its efforts to end the war. Greg Clugston, the White House.
The president set to return to a state that he won in 2016 and 2024. Tomorrow, Mr. Trump will hold a campaign-style rally north of Detroit in Macomb County, Michigan. The 30-year-old suspect in a deadly attack in Vancouver is charged with multiple counts of murder. Police say he intentionally rammed his vehicle into a crowd at a street festival in the Canadian city over the weekend. 11 people were killed, many more injured.
In Vancouver, a man drove an SUV into a crowd at a Filipino festival, killing multiple people and injuring scores more Saturday night. Police say they are confident it was not terrorism and have the 30-year-old driver in custody. Video shows a man surrounded by people screaming and swearing at him.
And that's correspondent Julie Walker. The Vatican says the conclave to elect a successor to Pope Francis will get underway on May 7th. Large parts of Spain and Portugal have been hit by a power outage. Utility crews now working to get the lights back on. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow trading 130 points higher. The Nasdaq is down 46. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
North Korea now confirms what the West already knew, that it has sent troops to Russia in support of the war on Ukraine.
Until now, both Moscow and Pyongyang have been silent about their cooperation on the battlefield in Kursk. This is despite multiple intelligence reports from the US and Ukraine that more than 10,000 North Korean soldiers have been deployed there. But today's announcement from Pyongyang couldn't be more public. In an article on the front page of its state newspaper, Kim Jong-un praises his troops for their heroism in pushing back Ukrainian forces. Thousands of North Korean soldiers are thought to have been killed and injured in the fighting. The US has said that North Korea must now bear responsibility for perpetuating the war, while Pyongyang says it will support the Russian army again in the future.
The BBC's Jean McKenzie. Canadians deciding whether to extend the Liberal Party's decade in power or hand control over to the Conservatives. Election day today in Canada. Townhall.com. A new electric vehicle startup backed by Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is headed to the market.
Slate Auto, headquartered in Michigan, made its debut Thursday night at a design studio in Long Beach, California, promising electric trucks for under $20,000 with a federal tax credit. The trucks are rather low-tech when it comes to amenities compared to others with manual windows and no informational screens. The company plans to build its trucks that can travel 150 miles on a single charge in Indiana. The truck is expected to go on sale in 2026. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is sharply criticizing fellow Democrats as they don't do enough to oppose President Trump. Pritzker delivered the keynote address at a high-profile Democratic Party dinner in New Hampshire. It's the latest in a series of speeches that he has given this year. The billionaire has been laying the groundwork for a potential presidential run for years. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tracy Piermos
of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday, everybody.
Ah, yes. Welcome back to it.
Welcome to a week of warm and possibly ending with rain. We'll
yeah, I'll take any bit of moisture we can get. Absolutely. This last weekend was insane with the wind.
Seems like they're always waiting until the weekend to get these rain chances.
Yeah, it does seem funny how weather patterns tend to wait. Like you really don't. I mean, sometimes, but rarely do you experience real heavy wind at 2 in the morning. Sometimes, yeah. But doesn't happen very often. But then right around noon, that's when it kicks in every single day. It's like the wind is just waiting for its moment.
You just think the worst ones are always 5 o'clock, right around that late afternoon, right? That's when it usually seems to get its gumption going the strongest, just by and large.
You know what I blame for this, right? We've talked about this before, but butterflies in India.
Ah,
yeah.
They're flapping.
It's that butterfly effect. If they'd stop flapping, if we didn't have so many butterflies in India flapping their wings halfway around the world here in America, we wouldn't be dealing with such torrential winds.
There you go.
So we need to do something about the butterflies. There, I said it. Hot take of the day.
First off, get them out of your stomach.
Well, that first, yes. Because we can't have nervous people going in, taking out the butterflies. They're the real enemy, and I say fight the real enemy. I'm going to go Sinead O'Connor. I'm going to come in with a picture of Monarch, rip it in half.
All right. I will watch from afar on that campaign.
Oh, sure. They're pretty. They're cute. That's what they want you to think. That's how they get in. They've infiltrated every single aspect of our society. And what good are they? What good do they bring to the world? A little bit of beauty. Oh, great. They make a field look nice.
I feel like now there should be, there's the Inside Out movie, the heads and the cartoons.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be a Pretty Bug movie like that. And they're all fighting against the butterflies, the ladybugs.
Well, I mean, they've done A Bug's Life.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking the basis of this. It's maybe a beauty pageant surrounding with the Pretty Bug contest and the bugs. I know it's maybe a faux pas nowadays to have beauty contests.
Well, you know what you're tapping on, and I know that Mike's never seen these.
Yeah.
But if you ever have a chance, if your nieces or your little sister in town or whatever, the Sing movies
Mm-hmm.
are better than they deserve to be.
Okay.
Like, there's really no reason that those movies should be as good as they are, but they're so good.
I will take your word for it.
It's a bunch of animals in a singing competition.
I think I remember the commercial.
Right.
It's
It's funny. It's got heart. It works on several
if
different
McDonald's offered their toys in a Happy Meal, I'd probably heard.
levels. Yeah, that's fair. But that's kind of that mindset is where they kind of like they dip a toe into what each animal's like specific thing is.
Right.
That's why I love it. I don't know if I mentioned this on the radio before, but I follow a channel, a shorts channel called Natural Habitats.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they take actual animal facts and they put them into, quite honestly, hilarious little animated shorts.
Mm.
Like, for example, this is one that came up over the weekend. I showed it to a friend. Did you know that axolotls have the ability to regrow their arms and legs?
I don't even know what whatever.
Axolotl. It's like a lizardy looking thing.
All right.
Anyways, so the cartoon is this family of axolotls, and the big sister got a hold of a pair of scissors and accidentally cut parts of her hair, like head off or scalp off.
Yeah.
And the dad's like, "It's okay, it'll regrow." And then she goes, "Honey, where's your little brother?" And cuts to the little brother, and she cut off two of his legs. And so the dad, just to even it out, cuts off one of his hands. She goes, "Mazel tov." It's just little hilarious shorts, but they're based in fact. And I've learned so much about the animal kingdom from these little shorts.
Nice.
They're fun to watch. But that's kind of like what you're dabbling with is anthropomorphizing humans. But that's fine. That's fine if you want to do that. But don't you dare make me care about the scourge of the skies that is known as butterflies.
I'm just saying, so we get these pretty bugs,
Mm-hmm.
but the moral of the story is we got like, I don't know, a stink bug or a potato bug, something that generally is not liked in the bug world.
Right.
Not mean, but just not liked.
A dung beetle.
Yes, something that's insignificant.
Right.
And let it shine.
A tick, maybe.
Yes. In the world, all these beautiful butterflies and ladybugs and
well, if you think
whatever
about it, the
other bugs.
story of the butterfly is in of itself that story because caterpillars, hairy, nasty, only their mama would like them looking
turn into
face.
butterflies. Yeah.
They go into that little, chrysalis thing. Now, I don't know exactly how it works, but I've heard it dies at that point, and the bacteria from the caterpillar is actually what creates the butterfly.
Next time, ask them these questions.
Yeah, I'm telling you, seeds of an interview.
I know I sound like I know things, but I'm a dumb DJ. I don't know nothing about science or math or anything. I'm like, I don't know.
But here's the thing: while they're in that chrysalis, while they're in that cocoon, they're being imbued DNA strands of knowledge of how to infiltrate our society, how to take out folks at the top.
It's like those Matrix things they plug into them.
Exactly.
Now I know karate.
They're pure evil.
Yeah.
With wings.
All right then.
There, I said it. Stop flapping their wings, and maybe our winds will calm down.
They're just the chicken of the insect world.
Just the chicken of the sky.
All right, let me give you the rundown on that note.
Bald eagle, I call it beef of the air.
That's right. It's meaty. But although I ain't gonna lie, I was talking about this last week. I saw some video and they showed like the undercarriage of an owl and the legs and everything. I think owls or eating owls is frowned upon, but I'm just saying, you eat one of them legs, you got a meal. That thing was buff.
That's true, but at the same time, it's all leg. It's really like if you strip an owl of its feathers, first of all, that's cruel. How dare you? But secondly, step back and take a look, because that's a weird looking bird.
I feel like I could walk around a fair smoking owl leg, walking around here.
Have some?
People are like, you're so horrible. I don't know. It's bird, man.
Only appropriate if it's got a side of PETA.
All right. Folks in the Chavis County Health Council are going to join us here.
Speaking of eating tasty meats.
I don't think they recommend eating owl.
Well, we don't know that. Don't put words in their mouth.
I don't want to speak for them, but I don't think they're going to endorse owl eating.
It is a foul practice, admittedly.
Slightly foul. They hunt. I know there's a bunch of mice saying, yeah, eat more owl. That's all I'm saying. All right, it is 9:14. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Lots of sunshine today. We're headed for the mid-80s, maybe 90 around the Carlsbad area. Wind will be a little bit gusty, 20 to 25 miles an hour. Overnight, we're expecting clear skies, our low dropping to about 50. We get another sunny day on Tuesday with low to mid-80s. Slim chance of a shower on Tuesday night, then right around 80 and sunny again on Wednesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 72 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 19%. Winds currently out of the northwest at 10 miles per hour. Sunny today, mid-80s, 86 are high. They say winds will be breezy. This morning, winds will be out of the north 5 to 10, but as the day progresses, those winds will shift and increase out of the southwest 15 to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, we're looking at mostly clear skies, overnight low of 50 degrees. Winds will remain breezy out of the west, 15 to 25 miles per hour. After midnight, winds will drop down 5 to 15 miles per hour. For you Tuesday, sunny, 82 for a high tomorrow. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. We do have a 20% chance at some rain showers tomorrow night, mainly before midnight. Mostly cloudy, overnight low of 50 with southwest winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny on Wednesday, high of 82, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 86. And then Friday and Saturday, as of right now, they're saying we have decent rain chances. A 50% chance at showers on Friday, mainly for the afternoon. Mostly cloudy, cooler, high of only 69 on Friday. Friday night, we're looking at a 40% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy and an overnight low of 55. And then Saturday, we're looking at a 50% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 76 for a high there. And then sunny and windy with a high of 84 on Sunday. All right, 9:16, we're going to take a 3-minute break. And then on the other side, we'll have the folks from the Chaves County Health Council join us. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in 1 cent.
Hi, I'm Chef Anthony Noble at the Valley Cafe located at 801 West Brasher in Roswell. We want to welcome you for dinner 5 to 8 p.m. weekdays, except Wednesday we close at 2 p.m. If you haven't tried our food yet, I hope you come try one of our dinner entrees, pasta, soups, salads, burgers, and sandwiches, and our weekly specials as well. Let me make you great dinner. Visit the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell.
Can't see us in person? Find our full menu on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
The Eastern New Mexico University System is proud to present One Eastern Day, sponsored by J.P. Stone Community Bank, Thursday, May 1st, 4 to 9 p.m. on the campus of ENMU Roswell. Come join ENMU for a family fun night featuring food trucks, inflatables, face painting, info booths, and live music by Roswell's own Grupo Maldad from 7 to 9 p.m. Bring the whole family out on May 1st to ENMU Roswell and join us for One Eastern Day. Visit roswell.enmu.edu for more information. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Your favorite time of year is here. Time to get the pool ready. And Mays Lumber in Roswell is your BioGuard headquarters. They have regular chlorine, including pool generators, and Soft Swim by BioGuard for your non-chlorine products. Prepare and maintain your pool for summer the right way for a full season of smiles instead of headaches. Get your pool ready for summer with Mays Lumber. And now through May 15th, buy $100 in BioGuard products and receive a $20 mail-in rebate. Hurry into Mays Lumber Company, 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do. Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits for the astronauts. Here's Mike Winters.
I'm going to take a stab. They don't feed them broccoli either. Good morning. It is 19 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from the Chavez County Health Council, Carrie Moore and Jennifer Smith back with us. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
In unison on a Monday? Awesome.
You want us to sing it to you?
I call that a victory. For folks not familiar, the Chavez County Health Council, they do a lot of things, but the big thing that most people know them for is they are the purveyors of the 211 hotline. If you have any questions regarding really at this point flood damage stuff, or just new to town, need a doctor, or anything non-emergency healthcare related, then you're definitely gonna want to give 211 a call. That's what that number's for. Now, if you got an emergency, your arm's falling off, 911. But if you're like, I'm new to town and I have a child with special needs, what's some programs here? 211's for you.
Definitely.
Yeah. So how is the Health Council? How are you guys doing right now? How's everything going?
Right in the start of Health Expo planning.
Yes, I know August seems like a minute for all of us, but for the actual the big annual event, now's the time to sign up your booths and all that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing the Health Council does is in August, usually right around back to school time, they do the big Health Expo where we get. Now, obviously, this year's going to be a little different because the place it's normally at isn't going to be available this year. So there's a little different to this year's Health Expo, which means I'm guessing you guys have to start extra early. For securing the location, but then making sure you have enough booths.
We're a month behind because of trying to find the location.
Gotcha.
So here you go, kids. You only have a month till school is out.
Yes.
But it's only 3 months till school's back in.
That's right. See, parents, sad then happy. You're going to get the kids here in a couple weeks. Oh, but they're only here for 2 months, and then they'll be back in August. Yay! So. But yes, this is. But now is the time. Now's the time. You're signing up. If you're wanting to be a booth at the Health Expo, it's pretty much anything. Covering. It's pretty broad. It's health and wellness.
It's pretty much conception to death. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, because it's everything that happens in between in all of your aspects of life. So this year, I want to see some booths with some financial literacy.
Sure.
Because let's help
some of those ancillary skill sets that really have nothing to do with your heart pumping, but sure makes it easier to take care of your heart when you got your finances figured out.
Right. All the way to, let's figure out what do we need to do to make sure that our end of life is a smooth transition. And so our kids aren't freaked out. And, I think about that one kind of a lot. It's
well, I mean, financial planning for the future.
Yep.
To be honest, we all should start in like early 20s. None of us generally start till about 40, 50. And they're like, this is what it's a lot easier when you start in your 20s and put it back. And by the time you hit your 40s, you already got the nest egg. Some of us is a little late to learn this lesson, but this is the kind of stuff we're talking about. Yes, I know you're 20. Now's the time to start talking about retirement and things. I know it doesn't sound right and everything else because right now you're still indestructible at 20 and you can, I get it. Nothing's sagging anymore. Nothing, or you know what I mean? Nothing's going south yet. Everything's all,
Oh, wait, he's still on his 20s, right? Because I'm like, no, all my stuff's sagging. What's going on?
I'm talking about the 20s. You're not caring about retirement.
It's Monday. Give me a minute. I got to catch up.
But really, in all actuality, and so that's great. So, so any financial planners and retirement,
all the way to
401.
the disaster.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's still, we're still going to be dealing with all the outcome of the flood.
Absolutely.
So those who are working within those people.
Sure.
They need to be there so that way they have access
Make
to
sure
this information.
Programs and things and ends on different, for quality of life stuff.
Well, not even that. I mean, okay, so some of them have to do mitigation. What works around mitigation? I mean, there's so much information that people need.
And a lot of it's intimidating if you don't
It
not
is.
in that world. Yeah.
And having it at one location will make it a lot easier. So my call to everybody is, if you have anything to do with life itself, you need to be part of the Health Expo.
Absolutely. And of course, yes, we still want to have the actual medicals and come and get your blood checks and your sugar checks and all the different different things and bloodmobile and donating blood, all that
We'll
stuff.
still
will be
do
there.
mammograms.
But we'll also want to say, hey, we want quality of life things that are setting the table so you don't have the big problems down the road. So, or even, if certain, like you were talking about, like if you have a family history of like dementia and stuff like that, there's insurance that can cover like, if you have to go to facilities and stuff like that, and instead of draining your you hear all those stories about, well, we have to get a divorce to protect assets, do all this and all that. There's other ways to avoid doing that if you start early enough.
Well, and if you have family history of it, start looking for the science, because the thing is if you're the one that's going to have dementia, you're not the one who knows you have dementia.
Exactly.
And your kids will sit there and go, there's something wrong. We don't know what it is. And by the time you figure it out, it's usually full blown on.
And what if you're the breadwinner or the main financial head of household and pays the bills and does everything? What happens when you can't do that anymore?
Right. We've got, that new autistic clinic or something that's coming in, because that's a whole, there's another subset of people.
Trying to fight a sneeze, sorry. So you're like, go away. but you're right, and that's what we wanted to add to this year's Health Expo is adding some of that. Okay, it's not talking about heart pumping, but this is how do I get this taken care of so I don't have to worry about this. And to be honest, it is, because if you don't know where you're going to eat tonight or where your room is or where your kids are going to be, that's not good for your health either, your mental or physical health. People die of heart issues that are stress-induced.
Dehydration.
Blood pressure. All these things are stress-related things.
Yeah, it's a whole gamut that affects the body.
So sometimes solving problems like this solves health problems, too. And when you're not worried about if your kids are going to make sure they have a place tonight or is their future secure? How am I going to secure their future? I don't know. Now you can start tackling those issues and dealing with your own mental health on some of these things. So, and you don't realize it's every time you see like the person going crazy in the video, whatever it is, in the street or in a bar or whatever it is, I guarantee, yes, alcohol's probably been involved or drugs on some of that. Yes. But what I'm telling you is no one chooses to be that person that day.
You didn't wake up that morning and say, hey, I think today's the day I want to be a druggie.
Life put them there. Whether it's they didn't have money to pay the bills or so-and-so this, and then hit into drugs and alcohol.
Some stressor.
And that starts a whole nother set of problems. And so by the time they see them in the bar fight or being the problem in some place or running in with the gun, shooting up a place or something like this, God forbid, all of this is the stuff we need to nip it in the bud, this type of stuff, dealing with life issues, making people's life better, actual mental health things. What's causing this stuff? We all can complain, and I'm not trying to get political here. We can all complain about guns or this tool or that tool. At the end of the day, it's all mental health, all of it, every single bit of it. If we don't treat what's going on up here and making sure people are right here, the rest of it will work itself out. I promise you.
And for those of you in Radio Land, he was pointing to his head.
Yes. That's right.
Because you can't see that.
That's right.
And now that he brought everybody down.
Sorry, me and my soapboxes.
Let's try to liven it up a little bit, Mike.
I just want to stress importance of this stuff, and that's kind of people kind of just sleeping. Oh, there's a chance for the kids to get school books and backpacks and which it is. It's all of the above. Like years past, if you want to be a vendor at the booth, you're going to have to donate school supplies as
and
part
backpacks.
of the
that part will never go away.
And that will be given away.
Yeah, but this year the cool thing is that we'll be out at the mall.
Yes.
And this is our first time doing a themed event.
Nice. So you can do a little shopping while you're there? Because
Yep.
I'm sure all the stores, if you're smart, you're going to be open on that day.
Right. And talking with Angie out at the malls, she loves to decorate out there. So we
Gives
decided
her excuse to decorate, huh?
Right. Which is why we decided to do a theme. So we're going to do old school video games.
Nice. Well, mall,
Yep.
arcade. I mean,
Yeah.
all right, kids, this is what we did when we were your age.
Yeah,
We
it kind
hung
of
out-
went hand in hand.
Yeah, we drank Orange Julius's and Aunt Annie's pretzels and played copious amounts of video games.
Which I do know how to make orange Julius. I know.
Idea for our
And the occasional Sbarro piece of pizza. Not at this mall, of course, but other malls, back when we were kids. But yeah, but that's cool. So come 85. You know what? If you have no idea what we're talking about, kids, go watch Stranger Things. And
There you go.
Maybe Karate Kid. We'll go with it. Not the Cobra Kai. Watch the OG Karate Kid, and that'll give you a good idea what to prepare for.
However, I mean, they're still playing Mario Kart. I mean, my grandbabies are loving Mario.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's still old school.
Oh, yeah, it's not in a building. Now it's all in your house. You know,
Yeah.
it's on a game console or your computer.
You don't know
on
what
your
it's
phone.
like playing at that table game.
That's right. Yeah. Like, you don't know what it means when someone walks up to you and throws a quarter on the machine next to you. That means you're Dunsky after this game.
You don't know what it's like skipping school and going to the donut shop next to the high school and playing video games all day.
That's right. Didn't know how cool it was when they used tokens instead of quarters. And so you put $1 in and they give you 5 tokens instead of 4. That was a baller move.
Right? I wonder if I still have tokens.
And you did it all for 37,000 tickets to win like a pencil eraser head.
Except for I had a 3-foot parrot.
Ah,
A stuffed parrot.
nice.
We did enough of the skeet ball.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of like the golden chalice of.
It was. I carried that parrot with me for years because I wasn't letting go.
The only other thing that gives me more nostalgic happy in that same vein is like when you go to the fair and if you pop the balloon with the dart and you got the little like 3x3 mirrored, usually it had like Bon Jovi or some beautiful chick of the week or like Jack Daniels logo, something like that.
Yeah. However,
Yeah.
I had like a 3-foot unicorn.
So that's going to be our theme for this year's health fair. So I don't know. I would be delighted if some of the booths literally set up some of those arcade-like games and little.
So our booth definitely will.
Yeah.
So and because we do a scavenger hunt, so
Can we give those little mirror things as prizes?
No.
That would be awesome.
No,
we
because
have actual prizes.
I wanted a Lionel Richie mirror with the pose.
yeah, you probably dig through your shed and find all that stuff.
Right. The Kiss logo, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. The flags.
Yeah. Oh yeah, gotta have all the flags.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, that's fair. We're going back to the video. We're going back to the mall. Video
sounds
stores.
good. So yeah, think of Stranger Things. Think of that. Hanging out. Definitely want to come and do that. And so, and of course, while you're there, definitely support the businesses inside the mall there too. Do a little shopping, and if you didn't finish your back to school shopping that weekend or didn't get enough from the fair itself, go hit up the places there, get it done. But really, it is so it'll be nice there, air conditioned, and there'll be food booths and I think there, but you can wander on off to the different food.
So
places
yeah,
in the
there's
food
going to
court there.
be a couple more food booths in the mall actually added.
Okay.
Another drink.
Oh, in addition, by then, so there'll be a few
Yeah.
more food options by the time.
Yeah,
the
she would. Yeah,
actual-
because I don't know exactly who it is. Well, I know some of them, but
Because Oi's in there still, right?
And La Salsa's
and
there.
La Salsa's there. That's kind of.
well, always change their name. It's Kim's Kitchen.
Yeah, it's Kim's Kitchen now, but.
But there'll be a coffee store in there, and then there's going to be 2 snack style stores in there.
It's a place to get a little grubbage, grindage.
Yep, and then it's back to school shopping. So we've got tax-free weekend because it's April 2nd.
I just thought
August 2nd.
Yes, it'll be that same weekend.
Or August 2nd.
Yeah. So it'll be that same weekend as tax-free weekend, so you
Yes.
can
Yep.
so you can go stock up on clothes and computers and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
At the mall, of course.
Right.
Good deal. Oh, I just thought of another movie to reference, Encino Man. Yeah. Where they go to the 7-Eleven and wheeze the juice in each of the frozen burritos, vintage 80s.
Yeah.
Corn nuts.
I'm like, I probably haven't seen Encino Man since the 80s.
Oh,
so.
man. There's a scene where they go and he's teaching the cave, Brendan Fraser, how to life at the 7-Eleven and how to navigate. And he's talking about the burritos and wheezing the juice on the slurping machine. And all.
Yep.
Don't wheeze the juice.
Yeah, this whole thing just took a whole different turn.
I'm sorry. I lived this era, you know, so I'm like, I know the real.
Mike's being nostalgia this morning.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Some of these younger folks are kind of bastardizing our 80s a little bit. Like,
that one's true.
Like, they're turning into a thing, and like, that's not how it was.
No.
It's not. You're just seeing the thing and thinking it's a thing, and that's not how the thing was. You know, so.
Yeah, I was like going to these 80s parties, and it's like, yeah, we didn't dress like that.
Yeah, nah. It's like I'm pretty sure how we did the same thing to the 70s, and like, you know how we, you know, if we dressed up in like 50s, our parents' thing, we probably went over the top with it, everything. It's like not everybody walked around with those tight jeans and the T-shirt and the grease back hair.
And they didn't have the poodle skirts.
Yeah, not all of them did. We all assumed everybody dressed like the grease. I'm sure they did. You know. But anyway, it's going to be 80s themed this year. So please, if you're
old school video themed.
Yes.
Not 80s, just videos.
I'm sorry. Old school, think of the mall, think of the arcade, think of
you could do Atari. I mean, you can do Pong.
Yeah.
You can figure out how to make that.
Or some of us that weren't, our parents wouldn't get us Atari. They got us in television instead. Even go with that one.
Oh, I don't remember that
one.
Oh,
yeah, that's where you could play. Actually, that was one of the few places you could play Donkey Kong. But on a home system.
Yeah.
But they also had such hits as Burger Time. Do you remember that game, Burger Time?
I loved Burger Time.
I didn't play it.
I loved
and then there was this
in
one
the arcade.
And then there was one where there was these two lily pads, and the frog. You had a frog, and you jumped from lily pad to lily pad, and you tried to eat flies and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Think of it as like Frogger, but without the street.
Right. Oh well, we can even go more old school than that. What was it? Oregon Trail.
Oh yeah.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Oregon Trail. That's a computer guy because that's all the typing and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one ventured into nerddom. Like you had to be a little nerd to play that game.
Or in elementary school.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I'm just saying, like
that was a school thing.
where the jocks and the nerds didn't meld back then. You know, there were two groups, but they would kind of meld in an arcade with like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. But if you're playing Oregon Trail, there ain't no jocks playing Oregon Trail. That was all the nerds right there.
Yeah.
Just call us out, Mike.
I was that guy. I'm there. I knew. I had a foot. I was that kid in high school with a foot in every world. You know, I go hang out with the jocks. I was really fit in none of them, but I could like go hang out. I was the class clown. I was the guy that.
No, not you.
Yeah. I was the guy that could, you know, I had a friend in everywhere. You know, here's all the headbangers. I can hang out with them for a little bit, and the jocks I can go hang out over here, and then. You know, the cheerleaders or the whomever, I get them. Whatever group there was, I had a friend there somewhere. So anyway, but this is what we're doing for this year's Health X.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're still working on the fun run to see if it's truly still going to be a run or if it might be an obstacle course.
Okay, is that going to be in the mall?
Yeah, everything has to be there at the mall, so we have to figure that one. I don't have the logistics down on
but
yet.
You could go inside and outside with that one.
Right,
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, mall walkers, I don't know.
I'm thinking we could do, I'd
hear those windbreakers.
Yeah. like if you can get like a couple of those industrial fans and put it apart and just make them like have to go into that as part of the obstacle. You know, give them the goggles and the ski poles or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're trying to incorporate some gyms into this year to hopefully maybe do some kind of obstacle course with the gym.
Cool, kind of like an Ironman or what, kind of like a firefight, like the Fireman Challenge, kind of.
Yeah, because there is a gym out at the mall.
Yeah.
So, you know.
That's right, there is. So, so if we can work that out, maybe.
So if you're listening out there, you need to call 211 and talk to Carrie.
That's right. We can create some kind of workout.
Like a Donkey Kong obstacle course.
Ooh, there we go.
I know.
Or, you know what? With the fans and everything, theme that to Frogger with the crossing the streets, and then sometimes you just throw a big foam log at them.
Yeah, well, there's no shopping carts at the mall, so you know we lose that whole traffic piece to it. Yeah.
Well, Maybe you can get the little. They still got the car rides for the kids. Maybe stage a couple of those, some wind.
They don't have those, Mike. They don't have those
little trains of the cars the kids can ride in for.
No.
Quarters, probably like $3 now.
Which is why they don't have them.
Yep. Now they take debit cards.
When was the last time you were at the mall?
Well, I've been at the mall. I just haven't. They frown upon when I climb on those things. They usually tell me get off.
Yeah.
So I haven't really scoped. I don't have kids, so I can't use that excuse. So they get. Show plays no kids with kids. They really don't.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it takes a whole different level.
So I just miss out.
Yeah. So we're still working on that. We've got deadlines for our sponsorships coming up. May 9th will be our deadline for presenting sponsors.
So you got about a week and a half here.
About a week and a half. And those are the top tier sponsors. Those are the ones who gets their names on everything, everywhere.
These are the title sponsors. When you see Health Council, you will see these names right alongside.
Yep. So that deadline is May 9th. And the regular sponsors is June 14th.
Okay. What's the deadline? Of course, it's probably first come, first serve, but on getting booths, they're available as long as there are openings, basically, or?
So the early bird is up until May 30th.
Okay.
And then after that, it's June 28th. But it will be first come, kind of first serve. I don't know how many booths the mall will hold yet because I haven't laid that one out.
Well, yeah, and I imagine you got to figure out the size of the booths and all that, if it's going to be the same as it would be in the convention center, or do you need to adjust that?
After 6 years at the convention center, I've got that one down.
Yeah, that map's pretty much staked out and probably ingrained in your head.
Yes.
You have to see how you can work that grid and incorporate it into the mall.
Which doesn't work because I actually have a mall layout. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
But good news is it's just long, so you can it'll make it like a long trip.
It's long and it's got hallways.
Put it this way: wear your pedometer at this year's Health Expo.
Definitely,
and you might log in some
steps.
Just heading from one end of Penny's End all the way down to the towards TJ Maxx, all that Marshalls, all that end. That's a hike.
Right.
Yep. Mall. So, but what's if someone wants to have a booth? What I know, like we said, part of the cost is school supplies for the giveaways. What's the other cost for the booth besides the donation?
So the early bird booth price is $25. This year we dropped it a little bit, and then the regular booth price is $50.
Excellent.
After that early bird deadline.
Okay, so
if you do a booth after our deadline, it's $100 late fee.
Okay.
Added on top of it.
So not only can you guarantee you get the spot you want, and you save a little money do it if you get it done here before here in the next week or two here, basically before May here. Get that done, and that way you can. Now that being said, the more money you give them, the more money that goes back into programs and the health counts and all that. So if you want to overpay for this stuff, no one's going to stop you. But yes, if you want to save a little money for your organization, get it done. $25.
$25 is not nothing for a booth fee.
Absolutely.
To get your information out to the
Especially
public.
if you're trying to promote a business or promote something that is going to generate you money. That's the idea, folks. Is this is also a showcase for your businesses, opportunity to market your products to.
Yeah, and normally we have about 1,000 people who show up for it.
Oh yeah, you got to go. And I'm going to take a stab because it's the mall. That's going to generate even more folks because you're going to get people that didn't know about it. They're just going to go to the mall anyway. Whereas
because they're shopping.
At the convention center, that was pretty much a destination. Everyone's there for a reason. Here, you might get people just because they wanted a corn dog that morning. What I mean?
Well, and like usual, we do those great, fantastic prizes that are not cheap. So
Oh yeah, that's the other thing.
We go
too,
all out.
Yeah. So, you could go to the mall and leave with a free laptop if you do it right.
A load of a booty of prizes. Or, I don't know, I'm trying to think of an 80s arcade where, like you would have got, 1,000 tickets. You know what? Maybe that's what you need to do is tickets.
There will be tickets.
But not in the sense of what you're thinking.
Gotcha. Just saying there might
It's just a little different.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, we're having to get creative on some of this stuff because it's an open area. So used to we're having areas, things are locked down, and so we can do.
There's other things going on besides the health expo, at the mall. Some people are just there to buy shirts or candles or whatever.
No intercom system.
Yeah, that's true. There's no way to really,
broadcast
unless you put a series of PAs and then sync them all down the thing.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that.
No,
so
we're going to get creative.
We're going to get creative.
Can we get various game celebrities to run up and down, like say maybe Mario's running up and down yelling it, and next is, I don't know, Cubert.
Cubert. I forgot about Cubert.
Or maybe the Pitfall guy.
Well, what I would like to see is the booth looking like that.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, don't forget Paperboy. That was another great game I loved from the 80s.
I don't remember that one at all.
Paperboy?
No.
It was literally a kid on a bicycle, and he would deliver papers, but he had to avoid, like, obstacles. And
or he got knocked over.
He got knocked over, or chased by the dog or something. Yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of a fun game. Yeah, it was a good. I think that was more of an Atari game. I think there was an arcade version, but most people played that one on like their Atari or game.
Yeah, I think I only played 2 games on Atari, and I can only remember Pong. I don't remember what the other one was.
Oh yeah, Pong was my first gaming. Was Pong, and we had the deluxe model that included not only the Pong games, but this came with a gun. And there was an extra game that you could shoot at a white square that bounced around on a black screen.
Yes, that was the other one.
Kind of like, what was a Nintendo game? Duck Hunt. Yeah, it was kind of like a really, really rudimentary version of Duck Hunt. And Duck Hunt wasn't exactly deep either. So, but that was, but the rest of Pong was, if you don't know that one, look that one up, kid. But basically, every game, it's either tennis, hockey. I mean, they called them all the different games, but it was basically just move the sticks around at various positions, and like if it was soccer, then the goal narrowed, but if it was football, then I think the goal got bigger. You know, it was just basic, but it was basically they moved the sticks around.
Yeah.
And then you knocked the ball. It was actually quite fun. To be honest, I think if they, and it may be out there, I figured like if you just had like a downloadable version of Pong for your phone, I bet it's pretty fun to play. I imagine it's got to be out there, right?
You would think. I mean,
it's got to be way better
they
than
have apps for everything. So.
That game could be more fun than Slash and Fruit. That's all I'm saying. More addicting than Fruits, the Fruit Ninja, or whatever that is.
Yeah, some of the games that are out there. Yeah.
But yeah, come and you know what? This is your chance too. Parents, get a little nostalgic. Grandparents, sorry. Kids, they're like, no, I didn't play this crap either. That was my grandparents. Grandparents, bring your grandkids out.
That just sounds so wrong.
But it's true. It's true.
I know.
Is that your kid now? The kids nowadays, their parents were our kids. They're playing.
Yeah, I know, because that's me.
Stuff we made fun of. Yeah.
And it's my grandbaby, so yeah.
Things we're talking about, this grandparents are into. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because my kids, it was Spyro. It was.
By that time, they're well entrenched in the game consoles and not leaving their house.
All the PlayStation 2.
We still
there
have
you go. It's like the white one. What was the white one?
Yeah, we were the Wii. We're the generation that they made us go play outside still. So our kids, they didn't. They actually wore helmets when they rode bicycles.
Well, yeah, because we didn't do video games until high school. I don't remember middle school, but
like
I lived
arcade.
I lived in the county, so we didn't really go anywhere.
Well, when I was a kid, there was I had Pong, and I had like my Apple IIc that I could play a couple, but there wasn't, and the Atari. But then, like the Atari and television, like died, and there was a couple years there was really nothing until Nintendo started. You know what I mean? There was like a dead space there, and that's where I kind of fell out when the dead space happened, and then by the time Nintendo and all that picked up, I'm into high school, going into what was supposed to be college and all those other times.
Well, if you're interested in being a sponsor or having a booth, the information is up on our website.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the Health Expo. You can download the sponsor booth form, fill it out, submit it. I can invoice you. So
absolutely. And if you have questions, 211.
You have questions, 211.
You can call 211 and ask about the Health Expo. They'll be happy to give you all the information you need about that. But like I said, we are coming up on some deadlines. We're less than 2 weeks away on some of these deadlines to take full advantage of the discounts. And like I said, it's a different animal this year. It's going to be a little different. It might behoove you to lock in everything early. That way, when the wrinkles, we find out later that, oops, that's not going to work here.
Right. And as soon as I start getting closer, then if I don't have enough space, I have to cut the booths off before.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. You might find out, look, I'm limited. I didn't have as many as I thought. That way, get in now, get it in before the 9th or whatever that day,
May 9th. Well, May 9th is the presenting
sponsors.
sponsors. May 30th is the
30th here. So
early bird.
You got a month, basically.
Yeah.
A month and a couple days.
Gives you a month to get that $25 booth fee in, or
get it locked down.
Yep.
Especially too, if maybe you have a little bit, maybe you need 2 booths, maybe because you got a little bit bigger set up or
we
whatever.
We do have some organizations that do multiple booths.
Lock it down now.
Some of them do 10 booths.
Yeah, lock it down now. Let's get that. Get that done. And of course, if you do have outside things, like the bloodmobiles and stuff, we're going to put them in the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to, there's going to be as much of an outside presence as there is an inside presence.
Right, yeah. So we've got DOH should be doing vaccines. I locked them in already. I still got to lock in the bloodmobile. But there at the front of the mall, there's that one little area. It's got trees lined up like on the entrance. They call that Tree Alley.
Yeah, right in front of La Salsa.
Yeah, so we're taking over Tree Alley, and that's where all the booths are, the buses are going to be.
Okay.
They're going to be lining up in that.
Sorry, La Salsa Parkers. I know everyone that goes to get their crisp burritos in the morning they all park right there. I see them because I'm one of those guys.
Well, no, we won't be in the parking spots. We're taking the actual street.
Oh, the actual street there, the actual front there. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can park there and walk in to get your La Salsa burritos like
normal. Go give some blood after you eat.
And then donate some blood. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, then you get dessert because they'll give you a cookie and some orange juice.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Win-win. And then, but yes, please bring your families out. Mark it on your calendars here.
Yep, and this is also when we do the mammogram. So we do about 25. Last year, I think we did 30 mammograms, and the health council pays for those.
And you do have to pre-register for those, right? That you just can't show up the day of, right?
You
or am I wrong?
Will have to do a booth. Oh, there will be a booth at the expo.
Okay.
And you will book your appointment there.
Okay. So I was thinking you had to actually before the actual event.
The bus that used to come around increased their prices so that we wouldn't be able to offer the mammograms.
10-4.
We're partnering with Eastern New Mexico
Medical Center. So now you got a different provider this time.
Yeah.
So cool, good deal. So let me ask this, because I'm gonna. Is the rolling colon ever gonna come back? I love the rolling colon. I don't care what anybody says.
We loved it too.
Was that just the inflatable?
Did the rolling colon die?
That was New Mexico State.
Was it? I mean,
I don't know. I guess I could go and find the old stuff and hit them up. And
just saying.
That could be an entrance. Oh, that would be so wrong.
Come on in.
But it would be funny.
Oh, it would be funny, but my brain went to right next to a restaurant, and that's just not fair to them.
Just saying, the marketing could be amazing. We just do it.
I know.
Well, let's see. But yes, but anyway, please mark it on your calendars. And like I said, it's going to be the same weekend as tax-free weekend, so you can line up all your ducks in a row there and get your shopping done, get your free stuff done, and get in touch, and hopefully, yes, we always work it around the back-to-school stuff here, but this isn't all for the kids. This is for everybody. If you are a human being and are in need of taking care of yourself, then this has got opportunities for you here. It is all, and it's not all, like you said, it's not all. It could be, hey, I need to learn about some financial planning here. I need to know about some of this stuff. Or, you know what, there's a lot of stuff. As I'm getting a senior now, as you get older, your life changes too, and you're experiencing new things you didn't used to. Guess what? Health Council and the Health Fair, the Health Expo, got a lot of different booths that deal with things just like that. So
right. Well, and it does work for the back to the school piece too, because you can get your backpack, so you don't have to buy those, but you can get your eyes tested. So the Lions eyeglass people will be there, so you can get glasses if the kids need glasses.
Yeah, and that's their passion. That's what the Lions do, is find glasses for all kids.
I'm gonna try to get the dental van out there. I just don't know yet.
Okay. Are they gonna? Since they're gonna be out there, can you donate glasses too while you're there? Usually they have a thing where you can drop off glasses, and we'll check back. We got some time, but
we have time.
Generally speaking, the Lions usually also accept glass donations. So if you want to come out and bring your old glasses, they can donate them. We'll check back.
Hey, that's a good idea. Yeah. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, but sometimes they collect them too. So maybe we make them a drop-off spot too while you're there.
Yeah, or we can set it up with the Health Council as a drop-off spot.
Yeah, that's true.
There you
go.
Sure. See, this is how things work, people.
Synergy. This is like the A-Team when it all comes together. I love it, just like that. All we need is Hannibal with the cigar and the crazy face and all them. Yeah, anyway, but again, any questions related to anything with the Health Expo or anything else besides that, anything really health related, and it comes to stuff going on, whether your family needs and things, short of an emergency, 211 is that source. And if it's not a 24/7 hotline, so don't call it at 2 a.m. But
yes, people, please stop calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it's not. like if you have a 911 for other emergency needs, domestic violence type stuff, Roswell Refuge has a number that's 24/7. Those are numbers for those things. 201 is strictly an informational line, non-emergency, just information, putting people in touch with resources, whether it's medical, financial, or just quality of life issues. That's what
right. And there is a slight issue with 211. It doesn't work on the internet, the VoIP.
The VoIP phones.
VoIP phones.
Okay.
So sometimes if you call off of a landline and you get that meep, go on the website, get a real number.
Gotcha.
Call us.
Office.
Gotcha.
Call the office.
Okay. Ours are all.
I think everybody who has a landline
it's all
pretty much
internet-based now.
Is all internet-based.
Yeah. And I don't even have one at the house, so.
I don't either.
I haven't had a landline at the house in years. And that was a big change. I remember that. But at the end of the day, only calls I missed was like my dad called me once a week and telemarketers. That was it. And Dad figured out to call the cell, and that worked out fine.
And now the telemarketers call the cell. So hey,
that's right.
We're back. Let's go back to landlines.
That's right.
I know.
But is there anything we missed? Anything? Did we get it all?
I think we got it all. There'll be a time change for the Health Expo this year as well.
Okay.
Since the mall does not open until 10 a.m.
So we're going to sleep in a little bit.
So, yes, we get to sleep in a little bit. So the expo will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Very good. So be there bright and early, 10 a.m. instead of like 8 a.m.
And then we'll still work on whatever time on how we've set up the run.
Yeah. I imagine it, like I said, it's starting later, but also go a little bit later, too, because usually about 1 o'clock you guys were done. This will go a little bit longer.
Yeah, we'll do 10 to 2 for this.
Here. But, and of course, always the Chaves County Health Council is always looking for volunteers, if you're looking to find an organization to make a difference, and you kind of want a health council. They meet, you guys meet, what, monthly?
Once a month.
Once a month.
Second Wednesday at noon.
Yeah, and then there's always, and now when they're not planning events like this or running the 211 thing, they do a lot of other stuff working with the other healthcare resources, hospitals and things, lining them up with, people to help with their needs, vice versa. And so a lot of the stuff that goes on to Health Council is not necessarily an event like the
right.
the
We're a
back-to-school
connector of services.
Yeah. But their public things are the 211 and the Health Expo here in August. But,
and Together with Veterans.
Yeah, and Together with the Veterans. Yes, that's it.
Yep.
Which another part of it too. If you want to meet with them, they're always looking for more veterans to be a part of that. It's really
Definitely.
a brainstorming type group where it's really let's throw the ideas on the table and see how we can execute them. And they want more veterans with the veteran perspective, throwing their 2 cents into that conversation. So please, if you're a veteran and really, especially if you're one of those ones that are tired of this and tired of that, well, let's instead of complaining, because we're good at that we figured out. Let's be part
Got
of
an idea? Give us your ideas.
Yeah, let's be part of the solving of the problem.
Yeah, our next public meeting's in June. It's the third Saturday of every month at the
Very good.
American Legion.
Post 28 there on Montana.
Yeah.
So we'll meet there, and we invite all veterans to come and give their input. 'Cause
Sure.
we're going to be planning our next
Grab one with you.
big thing.
Bring yourself and grab a veteran friend and everything. Come on out.
Yep.
And they'll have plenty of coffee and everything.
Veteran.
We always
veterans
feed
family.
everybody.
Yeah, plenty of food, coffee, and other people you can grumble with, because I know sometimes grumbling together makes you feel good. And I'm not saying that's what's going on, but sometimes you can do that afterwards.
Well, I'm assuming they have coffee over there with the margaritas, but
They usually open the bar.
the bar's open.
I bet they can rustle up because somebody's had too much and they got to give them a cup of coffee. That's every bar has a coffee pot.
They have popcorn.
That's right. Very good. Well, thank you, ladies. We appreciate it. We'll see you here in a couple weeks.
All right.
Talking more about it. All right. It is 9:57. Dang. Let's. I can't believe the show's already over. Man, I feel like it just started. Let's do this. Let's pause for news and hand you the update, and then about that time they'll kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
With your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Thanks for joining us. Here's what we're following today. First off, Eddy County rescuers were busy over the weekend with multiple water rescues from vehicles. The first victim was rescued from a truck as it swept along the Black River Village Road at about 3 in the morning on Saturday. Then a second rescue a couple of hours later. This happened near Higby Hole Road. Both victims were safely removed from the rushing water. Officials are reminding people that if road signs and traffic barrels are in place, it's illegal to drive around them, and they're placed for your protection. Eddy County bidding farewell to Roxanne Brannon, the county's HR director. Brannon retiring after working 13 years with the county. Also honored recently was Lori Pruitt, who is retiring after 14 years at the treasurer's office, and Celicia Salcido, who retired after 15 years with the county's DWI program. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
So let's catch you up on some softball action from over the weekend. Roswell plays an important doubleheader at Hobbs and splits a pair with the Eagles. That first game, that's a big deal, winning 9-4. Jaslyn Horton, a senior, with 3 for 4 with a homer and 3 RBIs. Alani Taryn, a freshman, 2 for 4 with 2 doubles. But Hobbs wins the nightcap in a wild one, 18-13. So Roswell is 8-14 overall, 4-4 in district play. They'll play a doubleheader at Carlsbad. Tomorrow starts at 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, Goddard loses a pair to Artesia on the road. First game 7-0. Second game 10-0. Goddard will be hosting Portales, doubleheader tomorrow at 5. And Dexter gives Albuquerque High a game on Saturday, but loses by a score of 9-6. The score was 6-6 when the Bulldogs scored 3 in the bottom of the 6th. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Canadian authorities are holding a suspect in connection with a deadly car attack in Vancouver that killed 11 people.
Police arrested 30-year-old Kai G. Adam Lowe and charged him with multiple counts of murder. They say he has a history of mental health problems and was known to police. On the eve of Canada's election, Prime Minister Mark Carney stopped campaigning and